So I've been thinking about what team I want to do a longer type rebuild for a while now, and I landed on the Bears as they're a team that has, a franchise quarterback that I would love to see what they could do with actual talent around them, and I feel like we do a pretty good job of, creating those types of rosters through the draft and free agency and all that. And obviously, outside of that, there's not a whole lot going on. Obviously, we do have the pre-existing injuries on, which it kind of sucks that they don't have the actual, what they normally would have is where if you want to choose active roster, it would actually have the active roster, the stats and all that up to that week. So instead, I had to manually force win and force lose games. But yeah, we're not going to have guys like Mooney, Eddie Jackson, a lot of these guys that did play a decent bit of the snaps, but they're injured now or kind of out for the season now in this one. So maybe slows their progression down a little bit. But overall, you're looking at this roster and you're thinking, the O-line, they've got a couple of pieces, but overall, as a unit, they haven't been great. Fields maybe holding on to the ball a little bit too much, but there's really nowhere to go with the ball. Obviously, they paid a very high price for Claypool, and that's going to continue when they have to re-sign him not so long from now. As far as a Madden standpoint goes, though, thankfully, it's not the worst-case scenario. 24 years old with, some pretty redeeming qualities, obviously, long-term wise. I feel okay about him. Mooney, I feel okay about, but I wouldn't throw wide receiver completely off the list. Tight end I think is fine, but O-line needs some work. Running back I think is okay. We'll see how he plays in sim. But yeah, Fields a guy that last month or so, maybe month and a half, 2 months of play has been very much so improved. Early on, not looking super great, but doing it with his legs, starting to work around him more than just force him to work around the offense. Not that there's much talent around him anyways. Of course, defense, real life or in-game, there's not much going on here. No one has really played super well on this defense. Brisker's been all right, but, it's been a pretty bad unit, and I think it reflects why, with the development and the overalls, but lots to work on. I feel like this is a really good team to do this longer type rebuild. I don't know. You guys already know the title, the thumbnail online, but my plan is either win 5 Super Bowls or play until Justin Fields retires. So 15-year rebuild, 20-year rebuild, whatever it is, that's the plan. I don't know if I already mentioned to maybe leave a like or subscribe. If I did, I apologize, but this is such a long video and how much effort went into it. Would really appreciate you if you did. Normally I don't always ask. If you're not new, really appreciate your continued support. Also, don't know if tomorrow or sometime this week, going to start a new series on the second channel, PKR Plays. You can find that in the channel tab on the channel, or just, look at the community tab whenever that's uploaded. It'll be there. Or, once again, subscribe over there, and right when it comes out, you'll see it. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoy. All right, we need all the help we can get. Travis Gibson with 1 of 2 for his breakout, 10K XP, and hopefully a dev up. Huge opportunity wasted by Brisker. David Montgomery's playing well, so a 5-year 37.5 for him. The Bears seem to have got the I just had to say it, didn't I? They lost every game pretty much other than, oh yeah, thanks Justin Jones. We really love that, dude. It means a lot. Oh, hold on. Wait a minute. But of course, they ended up winning just that one game, I believe, maybe 2 games in the end. Don't know what that's going to finish this squad out with draft pick-wise, but should be in the top 5. I would hope so, at least. Be really nice to get in the top 2 and then, trade back with a really desperate team, that wants a quarterback. Of course, Fields' sim numbers were awful. They were really awful. The rush yards are okay. Montgomery was decent. Receiving numbers, we just do not want to talk about. Blocking, not bad per se. Sack totals, absolutely awful. In the right scheme, too, which is the worst thing about it. Santos was okay, and, award wins would have not even been in our vocabulary. The only dev up on either side of the ball was Morrow, I believe, which is not good. We are coming into free agency with a staggering amount of money. However, looking at the names in free agency, they don't look particularly great. I don't really know what I would be willing to pay for in free agency. Maybe Steele, maybe a couple of linemen perhaps, but as far as cornerstone pieces go, I don't really see any other than maybe Jamel Dean, who would probably be more willing to join a team that is actually ready to win. We offered on 5 players, and the only one that had not accepted, it seems, is David Long. We ended up with Brian Edwards, was a 3-year, $15 million deal. Burgess, also a 3-year, $15. Terrence Steele, 3-year, $30. And then Jamel Dean, a 4-year, $75, the big ticket item, if you will. David Long, I mean, I don't know why he wouldn't accept it. Hello, David. All right. I don't see why he has no offers, why he wouldn't just join us, but best of luck to you, sir. So I do know what our draft pick it is, and it is pick 4, which is 1 pick behind Philadelphia, 2 behind, Philadelphia is 2 behind, 2 teams with quarterback needs. Will Anderson go in the first 2 picks? I don't know. If he does, all the plans are just completely gone. Miles Murphy. Not only is it not Will, but it's not quarterback. Philly, you need quarterback, right? Oh, that is such an L. Of course, not for them. I do like Jalen Carter, but my thoughts were if it's not Jalen Carter, or if it's not Will Anderson, I can't make the selection this high. I like Jalen Carter is a difference maker, but I just think especially since our second round pick isn't even that good because they decided to trade their own for Claypool instead of, the Ravens pick, which basically makes Claypool a first-round draft pick almost. Way to go. I think we are going to have to trade down. We have so much other talent, and more importantly, once again, I just cannot make that selection that high. Unless it's for Will Anderson or a quarterback, which we're obviously not going QB. It's not exactly the haul I was hoping for, but pick 4, Leatherwood in a 5th round this year for 18 and 31 this year, and a 2nd round next year from the Dolphins, which I would imagine's got to be Jalen Carter, right? Yeah, that's a really good trade up from them, though. He's still a generational player. It's just they're closer than we are. We can't be making choices like that when we need like 10, 15 positions, you know? And I'm really annoyed right now because I did not think for a second Keely Ringa would be there still, and he is. But we don't need corner. We got Jamel and Jalen. We move back to 27. We gain a 4th this and a 3rd next. Not exactly the trade I was hoping to get. I think stopping the run is a very key thing for this team anyway, so Andre Carter is going to be my guy who is hidden very lengthy. Or lanky, if you want to call it, whatever you want to use. Move back a couple more spots and gain another 4th, and I think with this one, we're going to be taking Ika. He's maybe not, a pass-rushing DT. Maybe get this team back, I don't know, into a 3-4. Maybe not the best scheme fit, but very good value. Pretty much all of my remaining players are like 3 to 4s. There's like one guy that's 2 to 3, but he's a guard, and we have a lot of linemen in this class, and we got Steele, so not super worried about linemen at this point. If there's one that looks good, we'll take him, but feel confident enough to drop back there. And I think with that pick, we're going to be taking Jalen Catalon, who, ironically enough, is going to make Burgess a backup for like the billionth time in a rebuild of mine. It's just the safeties start flying, and I'm like, I want one too. He's hidden, he's fast, he's 21. I'm sorry, Burgess. We had a bunch of trade downs, and now we're making a trade back up to move up to 78 and grab a guard. And with that pick, we're going to be taking Caleb Chandler, who looks pretty solid, very athletic, and he's normal. You can't dev up a lineman. We trade 120 and 142 to the Cowboys for 94, which are going to be taking a tackle, Mr. Frost, who, I don't know if he's actually that athletic or not, but he looks decent enough, and we'll find a spot for him. He's got some decent ratings, but Aaron Frost, hidden development trait. I really wish Chandler was hidden, though. The athleticism, the rating, he looked solid. Out of desperation, I'm going to give the Saints a 7th just for one spot so I can take Flo and have myself a young linebacker. I was hoping that we would have had Owen there, but Flo's our guy. Justin Flo, B zone, very fast. The agility and all that's not great. Oh, he is hidden, though. Okay, that's interesting. 13 in the 4th, and wow, Wooden is still there, dude. I get him a few times. It's time to develop him again. Normal development trait, but lots of potential. He's like, you mix him and Ika together, and their weights combined for fair enough DTs. So I don't think we had anyone over star dev, but we had a lot of decent players here. Carter, normal or star dev, I would imagine, 74 overall. Ika, I'd imagine a star. A bunch of star dev players here, I'd say. And some decent overalls. They're good players. I kind of want to see Papoe, but I can't remember where he went. I don't want to spoil the draft selections too much, like the class itself, but I guess we'll take a look. 71 overall for the Broncos. Only normal, though. Okay, me and, linebacker dev-ups, I don't feel like it really matters too much because they're easy to get. The new squad, if you will. It's not the greatest squad, but it's the new one. Frost is actually going to start. Sorry, Jones, in real life, playing well. In-game, doesn't matter. Normal dev, who cares? Wide receivers, I forgot we got Bryan Edwards, actually. That's interesting, isn't it? Oh well, who cares? Definitely a more competent squad around Fields, without a doubt. And then defense, a lot more color. Like, what? 3, 4, 5 new star plus dev guys? That's pretty good. Obviously, Catalan will be the starter for Eddie Jackson shortly. Not quite yet. Linebackers still need help, but David Long did end up accepting a contract, so we're at least a little better there. Still far from a Super Bowl champion. Maybe even far from the playoffs. We had a really good start, and now it's falling apart. We're going to re-sign those two guys, probably Cole Kmet, probably Travis. Probably the first 5 guys are going to be looking to re-sign. I am insanely impressed with how this team turned it around. We were 2-0, then 2-6, then 11-6, I believe, is how we finished. Absolutely absurd. Didn't change the playbooks. I decided to go with, I had the Bears on for a while, looked at the numbers, weren't looking them. Then I went to the Baltimore one. Obviously didn't like those. Those were terrible. And then I switched to Atlanta for this season because I still think you get decent passing numbers with rushing numbers, and we just went off. Once again, I had them on start to finish, and the team just turned it around after turning it around badly. Once again, like I said, 2-0 start, and then, going to 2-6, and then we just completely killed it. Justin Fields, not perfect, but yards are insane. Touchdowns are all right, and picks aren't crazy high. Montgomery was good. Fields, not where you'd expect his rushing numbers to be. Cole Kmet, worth that re-signing. Same with Mooney. Claypool, it was only a 40-30 for him, though. And then Bryan Edwards, really killing it. O-line, not great. Frost pretty much gave up the same amount as Braxton Jones did the year before. And Gibson, paid him a 3-year $35. I think we finished that deal. 14 sacks. Carter with 8. Ika with 5. And then really sad from Wooden, 1. Of course, picks were awful. Kicking, worse than last year. Punting, not bad. I don't know if we would have had any award wins, but I'm going to quickly go through them. Because once again, this video is going to be a bit on the longer side, and it doesn't appear we had any. Now, we're not going to have a whole lot of time in this one, so I don't think I'm going to be able to actually go in and watch the sims. We're just going to have to completely sim through it. So the Niners, not bad, beat them. Then the Buccaneers, wow, we got smoked. Let's take a quick look at how that one turned out. Beat the Niners pretty nicely and then just died against the Buccaneers. 3-27. Yeah, Fields really not looking good in the slightest. Claypool came alive, but, I mean, who cares? I feel a little bit better, kind of. The Jaguars beating the Buccaneers. Once again, I say kind of because in a way, it's like you want to lose to the Super Bowl champions because it's like, oh, well, it's destiny. It's you really couldn't control it anyways. No DevOps on offense, which is really disappointing. And then on the defensive side of things, nothing here either, which is a mad L. Actually, Long had one. Oh, big deal, though. He's 28 now. So this is a very sick, group of players here in free agency, but can't imagine any of these are realistic. Bosa, maybe. Jefferson, 0 chance. They would at least tag him, but I imagine they're going to give him the bag. Herbert, same. He'll get the bag. Trayvon's going to get the bag. At least if he keeps playing the way he is, he's kind of killing it right now. Everyone almost owes him an apology, kind of, maybe. Gary, I mean, there's some really good players here, but based on the way that Gibson played, based on the fact that Carter was a high draft pick for us, I just don't think we can go Rashawn Gary. So realistically, all the players that are here aren't really the positional needs that we have. We got ourselves a new linebacker. I don't really feel like Queen's a 5-year, $45 million guy, but when you have the money we have and the glaring need at linebacker, there's really no point not to. Cam Akers, not a bad backup if he can stay healthy, and then we need a new kicker. Got a little younger with Zane Gonzalez, not by much, but a 2-year, nearly $8 million, which kind of high for a kicker, but he's proven, I guess. All right, favorite options. Quarterback comes up. You've got to give it. I really wish we had a top-tier pick because I think there is a generational cornerback right here. I don't see how he's not. He's got 4 A's out the gate, and he's decently fast. He's got to be generational. Now, this DT isn't like the best I've ever seen, but he is one of the most strange I've ever seen. He has no block shed, which, it happens, but an A power move, a B finesse, 3'10", 6'1", decently fast, but 41 bench press reps. I'm going to go Orlando Knox with this pick, and I do not regret it. Sorry, Wooden, but you are gone, buddy. We're going to bet against the Vikings and go and take their second and third next year for pick 12 here, as we don't really have much. We need this, moment. Might be a little more raw, but look at how fast he is. Obviously, that's just not true to his actual number, but it is what it is. And we will obviously be taking him because he looks great. Sadly normal, and also sadly nowhere near the 40 time that it says. I mean, that's insane, and it should be closer, but it's not. Like, those numbers should be like 93 speed minimum. 93 speed, 90 plus excel, vice versa, that's it. We traded from 87 using 122 to get to 73. Vikings back to trading. This time we trade up with them rather than trade down, and with this selection, I think we're going to be taking some sort of offensive lineman. Wow, we do not actually have a lot of players left. Don't know who's bad. It just kind of looks like Kramer's better. I'm just going to say Kramer, 21 years old, and a hidden dev. And even though I don't really need safety, I'm a big believer in taking best available player, and he looks best available to me, Darren Peoples, and another hidden development trade. Okay, that's not bad. We have ourselves an older kicker, but he is elite kick power, and, I mean, we need a kicker for the future at some point, so I'm going to grab him. And, ooh, does this mean generational kicker? 97 kick power. The weird part is he has a brother, it seems like, in the class, also named Leonard. I mean, it's last name. I mean, it could just be coincidence, not like some crazy obscure name, but still just saying. What do you mean you've never paid for a backup kicker? What do you mean? Jimmy Campbell, new fullback. So for the overalls, 74, 73, some pretty good players. The tight end I grabbed in the 7th was awful, but some pretty good players. Obviously, Dev could be nice to know, but we don't really need to know it. Was there a middle linebacker hidden, right? Who the hell was... Oh, he was normal. I was about to say, who was the normal? Because I remember there being one. It was him. So trying to save a little bit of cap, not that we really need to, but also wanting to start Catalan, a fifth round next for Eddie Jackson. Or the year 3 team, we kept Chandler as the starting center for now. I got confused on which Kramer is which, but Kramer may take his spot at some point unless he takes Whitehair's spot first. Wide receivers, not the highest of overall, but a good group of players, obviously, and the tight end has played well. And then defensively, outside of Brisker, everyone is star or better. $98 million. Tevin Jenkins needs a contract. I think he's played well enough to get it. He takes a 4-year $40, which is good for everyone. Maybe a little bit better for him than it is us. Don't really have to pay anyone else. We may re-sign Cody. We'll see. Wow, this season was awful. 4-13, whereas every other team in the division, I imagine, made the playoffs. I didn't force any losses or anything like that. I did think that we were a little premature with May. It's a problem for some of us, okay? But we were a little early on our playoff run that we had anyways last season, but from us going from that to this, a little shocking. Gonna be honest with you, didn't change anything for play books or anything. Did that say Travis Gibson in the sack totals? I don't know, but Fields down here. Might need to make changes, might need to add different players to the receiving group. Glad we paid Montgomery to play pretty poorly, to be honest. Mooney did well. Cole Kmet was decent. Edwards and Claypool kind of letting us down. Wow. Steele with an absolute... What? Wait, how? I didn't change the scheme or anything, yet gives up 14 more sacks. How is that even possible? Also, Travis Gibson has been killing it. If he doesn't get to Superstar, do I force it? I don't know. Carter, really bad season, though. Picks finally added some. Queen and Catalan starting seem to have helped that. And then the what appears to be generational kicker, right? I imagine. Still hidden, never mind. Only missing 3 kicks out of 25, and 2 of them were blocked. Oh, Gibson with Defensive Player of the Year, and then Knox with Rookie of the Year. And D-Line of the Year, not bad. The Titans win the Super Bowl over the Lions. Interesting names there, I suppose. As far as dev-ups go, none on offense. Not really surprised, but Mooney maybe had a chance. And then defensively, Gibson finally superstar, Catalan superstar, and then Knox. We actually didn't check, but I suppose we're about to find out if he was superstar or not. And he was not. Actually, to be fair, he won the award. I think you're guaranteed a dev-up, but at least some dev-ups, finally. But yeah, the overalls are still a little low. Oh yeah, Brisker as well. Didn't notice him. I forgot. He failed 4 breakouts, so I figured he would have been there already, but he was not. So there's some pretty decent free agents here, but once again, I think we're set on what we want to go with right now. Greg Rousseau, especially with no interest, would be asking for a lot of money. It'd probably be like 30 mil per. So we traded pick 1 overall and a 7th round pick this year for a first next and Rashawn Slater from the Chargers. I know it's a little steep, but it is a little bit of a weaker class, and overall, I just don't think we need anything up there. Like pass rusher, maybe you can argue, but Travis is playing like a god. Andre Carter, his ratings are really good, so at some point you would expect he would pick it up probably. And I don't need any more draft picks this year, even losing pick 1 there. I mean, we're kind of good. And the bad part is we gave them a quarterback, which they absolutely needed. Their quarterback was, I don't know who it was, but it was a 73 overall, and it was not a young guy. We traded 2nd, 4th, and 4th this year for 25, which we're going to use to grab that kind of bigger, faster wide receiver who's actually starting to give me some Claypool vibes a little bit, which I don't know if that's a good thing in this case. I also want John Bryan. Maybe I don't need him, but he definitely looks worth it. But Tyreek Keenan, 6'3", 21 years old. Obviously nowhere near as heavy as Claypool, but kind of has some similar things. His jumping does suck, but we're going to take a chance on him. He is hidden, and he is also slower than I would have thought. 90 speed, but he does have 95 excel and 93 agility. He's good, but I thought he would have been a little bit faster than that. 60 and 92 to move up to 45 to grab this cornerback, Brian. Pretty good player. I mean, he's a little bit on the slower side, but, you see those catching, the press, the zone, you see all that. It's pretty hard to pass on him. So John Bryan, hidden development trait, and, a pretty average speed. We take Basley, the hidden development trait, 90 strength lineman. I traded up 2 5ths, 1 this, 1 next for the high 4th from the Jets, and we landed another hidden. This time, Gilbert Ellington. Didn't know the zone coverage, but that 8 hit power, that 8 awareness, tough to pass, and obviously elite athleticism. Ended up trading my 6th round this year for a 5th next, and we landed some pretty high overalls. I'm going to quickly check the devs, and we'll see if we got any superstars or not. Not sure when we'd start Keenan, but he's a pretty damn good player, actually. He's, injury and stamina, toughness, all that is a little bit on the lower side, but he obviously looks pretty good, and his dev is star. I really thought he would have been higher than that, to be honest. And the linebacker was actually a superstar. I can, show you guys. I, didn't force his dev or anything like that. I'm just trying to save some time because this is a long rebuild, and let's just say that, this kind of stuff takes a long time to look at. All right, here is the team. Wow, Keenan looks old, but this is the team for year 4. Claypool's the number 1 now with Keenan number 2, only because Mooney is he's a smaller slot type. I know that's not the way he plays, not the way they use him, but he is the smaller slot type guy, so that's where he's going to play. Offensive line changes with Slater at left tackle. Would they do it? I don't know. I mean, it's you don't have a franchise quarterback because Herbert went to free agency. You don't really need a franchise tackle if you're not protecting anyone great, so they felt get the franchise quarterback. Who cares about the franchise tackle? It's kind of the opposite of what teams usually do, but defense looks really good. A lot of the players are young and developable. Some not so much, like Dean Johnson and Trevis Gibson. So we talk about Fields needing a contract, $140 million, and we're having a really good season, so I got to imagine, I was about to say, it's a big part is him. He's having a really good year, so a 5-year 141, let's do a 5-year 150, call it even, make sure everyone's accountants, working as least as they can, and everyone's happy, I suppose. Jaquan Brisker is an interesting name because he usually doesn't develop too well in sim, and kind of seems like that's the case again here with only 81 zone coverage. That is a tough one because we have Catalan and we have a backup safety, Peoples. I think we're going to let go of Kyler Gordon and Jaquan Brisker, believe it or not, which, that would be a pretty big L for the Bears if neither of them become long-term guys for them. And it's a good sighting to not have a wild card game because we actually were the number 1 seed at 12-5. Got our nice little 10K trench boost, upgrade, XP, whatever you want to call it. And I think we've been over this already that I'm not going to show this, but here we are, I guess. From 4-13 to 12-5 is a pretty drastic jump. Take a quick look at the stats and awards, and then hop right in, but hop past it. Fields could be a superstar, which would be great because of the contract we just gave him. Claypool was good. Mooney was good. Cole Kmet was good. The rookie was okay. Cole Kmet, maybe a superstar, which would be great. The line was pretty damn good. Pass rush, Trevis. Nice. Look at that. We like to see that. Picks weren't terrible. Kicking was great. Punting was solid. Keenan was apparently a kick returner at 90 speed, yet he got an actual kick return touchdown. Fields is the freaking MVP of the entire league. My dude, this is what we're talking about. This guy could go to an X Factor. I mean, he technically won multiple awards, right? That would be insanity. But let's see. Let's skip it. Obviously, we're on a time constraint, so we're not going to go into these unless we actually make the Super Bowl, which sadly we did not. Wow, that was pretty anticlimactic. Of course, the Eagles are a pretty good team in the game, but wow, we got locked up. Although they have Davis Mills at quarterback, so are they really that good? The Chiefs win the Super Bowl over the Falcons. See what kind of dev-ups we had. Like I said, Fields could be an X factor. Hopefully he is, and he's not. But Cole Kmet does go up to superstar, which is pretty sweet. Obviously, Fields looking pretty good. Cole Kmet at superstar. What about the defense? Dean goes up to superstar, which is really clutch timing. And did Brian go up in superstar? Because I'm pretty sure he was only star, right? Nice. We'll take that dev up every day of the week. So, some pretty decent dev ups, and overall, a great season. Just, didn't cap it off with any sort of playoff success. Letting go of Steele kind of sucks, but we have, obviously Frost as the backup. Jaquan Brisker, he just, never really got the zone coverage up because EA just sucks at upgrading players. Oh, 82. Hey, watch out. We're saving some money, and more importantly, we still have better players that are going to start in place of these guys. Can't really imagine there's anyone that, isn't going to be at least an upgrade or equal to. Zane Gonzalez actually didn't regress hard, so we'll give him a deal if he wants to join back, which he does, a 2-year, 8. Free agency, sauce, but he's only a star dev still, which is a little bit of an L. Garrett Wilson, wow, the Jets just said, screw it. We got a young team that looks good long-term. See you later, buddy. Not happening. There's some decent players here, but other than, sauce for the future, in case we have extra noodles left over, I think we're going to let all these free agents just pass through. Jordan Davis is interesting, but man, oh man, no power move at all. I think you let these guys go, right? Maybe Garrett Wilson if we have to pay a wide receiver soon. Well, we have pick 18 and some other first-round pick, but I have nothing else to take. My defensive end that I was going to go with went at pick 12, and I was not trading up that high. So we ended up trading that pick, gaining a second this, and of course that first next year, which, it's the gift that keeps on giving. We moved back again. We got to 8, gaining a third next year, and this is where we're going to take a bunch of players in a row. Kind of future needs rather than right now needs. Gales is going to be a grab that we make right now. 6'5", 271, 22 years old, similar to the Vargas guy I was looking at, and a hidden development trait. Okay, so the thought was to maybe grab both because I didn't know if either would be hidden. Gales is hidden. That's a dub. And then at pick 11, we don't really need a safety or a linebacker at this moment, but these guys look very talented. So Reggie Vernon, super speedy with A zone coverage, looks great. Of course, of all the players to be normal, it's him. Of course it is. And a bunch more really good overalls. As far as who's going to start, actually none of them. None of them are going to start. But, that wide receiver sucked. But lots of talent, and we'll see if we landed any better than star devs. Hopefully the DN/DT would be great. Actually, I'm going to take a look at the DN because I had to change the left end, and I'm going to change his number because it's pretty bad. Oh, Lord. Okay, at least 50 works. Okay. This one I'm going to have to show you guys we didn't cheat, because there you go. Hidden development trait still. He's an X Factor. I kind of want to see what the dev is of the guy that I was going to go with. I was going to go with both no matter what, I imagine. But, yeah, that's pretty good. That X Factor, yeah. Seems like we have the future left end sorted. Also glad that I paid Gonzalez, realizing that we had a star development trait, 99 kick power, 26-year-old as our backup. Lovely. But overall, this is what the team looks like. Fields took a massive step forward. Cole Kmet, really nice dev up. Keenan, not really that high of an overall. Either are the other wide receivers, but that's the lineup currently. and the defense looking pretty good as well. And, some of the guys you have to get rid of, like Gibson, we have a backup for already. He's an X factor. He's literally the best, and he hasn't even started. Carter gets a +3 to power and finesse, and he's also here to be great, which gives him 10k XP. Middle of the season, having another pretty good one. Jamel Dean needs a contract. A 2-year deal sounds good to me. A 2-year 29? Happy to resign. That's what we love to hear around here. Trevis Gibson has been good for us, like really good. However, we seem to have the future at that position. So sorry, buddy, but we are not going to be doing that. Re-signing man. And as far as other players go, Ika, maybe Frost, Catalan for sure, Carter, I suppose, for sure, and Flo will be the guarantees. Here we go, another decent season and another bye week. Let's take a look at the seasonal stats. Right now we're running Atlanta offense. I actually can't remember the defense, but another MVP it looks like for Mr. Fields. David Montgomery looking pretty good himself. Mooney, maybe finally a superstar. Keenan, maybe a superstar. Cole Kmet, he stays a superstar. Claypool was okay. Blocking, gotta love that you're, got a guy like Slater giving up 13 sacks. Trevis Gibson is a tough guy to lose, but what can you do? Carter was okay, but not as good as last year. Knox and Ika, though, were amazing. Interceptions were pretty decent. Kicking, Zane Gonzalez stole the show, apparently. I don't know how that happened. And then Braden Mann with 54 yards per punt, which is absurd. And as far as the yearly awards go, Fields is MVP again. Multiple-time MVP of the league. Now an X Factor, it seems, and leading his team to yet another bye week in the playoffs. Obviously, a regular bye week no one really cares about, to be honest. But here we are, going against the 9-8 Lions. They are the same overall in fairness as us. And they beat us by 3. And Fields once again choking in the playoffs, bro. How? Every time. Winner of the Super Bowl is the Lions. So in fairness, we did lose to the 9-8 Destiny Lions, apparently. As far as the DevUps go, Mooney and Fields. Fields is a beast now, even though he sells in the playoffs. Johnson is superstar, which is massive for us. And Ellington already was superstar. So, okay, fair enough. Gibson, it really sucks to lose him because we could afford him as well. And at 30... he's still actually pretty good. Do we try to maybe give him like a one more year? I know that our guy is an X Factor that's waiting, but we do have money, so it's not like we really need that money right now, so why not, perhaps? Travis is going to keep playing like a god. Why not just let him stick around? And he took the 1 year 16. Why wouldn't you? Well, actually, there's a good reason why you wouldn't, and I'm honestly surprised he didn't use that reason because he could have gotten paid. But yeah, we're going to be letting go of Frost. I re-signed Chandler, the center, because I felt like he was better. If you look at Frost, his ratings kind of suck. I know he's a high overall, but pass block finesse sucks, run block finesse sucks, pass block in general sucks, run block in general sucks. Maybe play him as a backup for now, a 5-year 30, and he takes over for David when, maybe after this season, because David needs a contract and he's 30, he's only star still. I didn't put that much effort into our, scouting because we just don't really need a whole lot. If this James guy looks good, I put more scouting favoritism on him. Maybe I take him. We don't really need wide receiver that bad. 6'3", 4'4", I'm looking for big body wide receiver. He's got a spec. He's got decent route running. We have nothing to take. I'm just going to grab him. Hidden Dev at 94 speed, or 92 speed, 94 change of direction, which is really, rare for a guy his size, but we will obviously take that. And I also seen a cornerback that looks very good. Let's move down here a little bit to the second round. We've got a couple of second-rounders here, so let's not squander that opportunity. Give me a 3rd next year and a 6th next year from the Broncos. And then with that selection, if I can see my players, I think I'm going to go with Zach Witherspoon, who has an A catching, an A press, and a B zone coverage, and is quite athletic. Zach Witherspoon, welcome to the squad. And wow, he has 97 speed. This is like if Kalen Barnes had a little bit of weight and was hidden development trait. That's kind of insane. I guess we'll knock out another lineman, Tony Morgan, the center, hidden development trait. Might actually move Chandler to tackle if we have a tackle spot, which I think we do this season, actually, because Chandler has pretty good finesse move, and I did re-sign him to like a 4 or 5 year deal because I thought his ratings were quite a bit better than Frost. And, I mean, might as well grab another one. Wes Merritt, welcome to the squad. He had a bunch of firsts. 90 strength, 73 speed. Maybe he starts over the other guy. I don't know. Whoever's the highest rated probably ends up the starter. I am actually pretty curious to see how good that cornerback is. I'd say he's like 76, 77 or so. Or 83. Okay, you know, some of the overalls, like the center 2, even though I thought he was going to be better because he's faster, did drop off. Witherspoon did not. Is that a generational in the 3rd round? Well, 2nd to 3rd round projection, we took him in the 2nd. It has to be. He's insane. We almost never see generationals that aren't, like, literally the easiest to see, though. And no, he's not. He's actually only star. I mean, we'll take him. We could use a future star like that. But that is still pretty surprising. Barry James, his spec catch is decent. Catcher's jumping sucks, though. I mean, he's okay. What was the trucking? Damn. Terrible trucking. But yeah, with that cornerback alone, that is a very good pick. Our team is kind of juiced. Like, we probably could have just let Jamel Dean go. And even though, you know, Jalen Johnson is a little bit younger than Jamel, if Jalen needs a contract, I might just let him go. 28's great and all, but we do have great backups that may never see the light of day at this rate. So I don't even remember what the team looks like. I have taken a bit of a break from this, not even by choice, but by the fact that the game had that issue where you couldn't access certain online files. This was one of them. So we're like year 6 or 7 out of a, 15, 20-year rebuild. I don't even know what the plans were at this point. McDonald should probably be starting, no? Superstar guard. I mean, it seems like we're going to be letting some linemen go. Any chance we get to let go of a lineman with the depth we have, we absolutely should. Receivers may need to be added soon. And then cornerbacks, wow, this is a bunch of really good corners. This team is juiced. Trade Chase Claypool, 84 overall wide receiver, for pick 69 from the Colts. As that rookie wide receiver we have, James is, kind of like a slower but very solid version of him. Peoples apparently deving up to superstar. 108 mil, Slater, I think because of the amount of linemen we have that are decent, I think you let Slater go. I don't want to, but he is costly, and like I said, we are finding linemen left and right. It's a long-term rebuild. I can't afford everyone, and, my man's giving up a lot of sacks anyways for being so elite. We give Darren Peoples a 7-year 40, which is a steal for us and pretty sweet for him, I guess. And even though the kicker's old, he is a superstar, and I expect you can't really get much better than him, so 4-year 15.2. 4-year 50 for Cole Kmet, 7-year 85 for Orlando Knox, and a 7-year 80 for Greg Kramer. The division's looking pretty competitive. We're sitting at 12-4 with a loss. We still hold the division and the number 1 seed in the league. Taking a look at our win-loss ratio here. Looking pretty good outside of those 2 losses out of the last 4 games, but other than that, the team is looking pretty sweet. Let's take a look at the stats and awards. Justin Fields' numbers are a bit down. Rushing is awful. How the hell are we even a playoff team at this rate? Those are awful offensive numbers. Defense must have went ham. Carter with 20.5. Gibson at 11. Knox at 8. Interceptions were pretty good. Kicking was decent. Punting was great. Wow, defense, specifically Carter, really went off, and I am proud of him. Let's take a look at any award wins we would have had. Andre Carter. We got a little too excited. Tevin Jenkins and Andre Carter again. Kicker I would not have imagined we'd have won, but it looks like Tevin Jenkins is going to be a superstar, and so is Carter, which is pretty sweet. Looking at the first matchup, the Packers, 12-5 versus 11-6, getting a little bit of revenge here if we win, and we don't. Quick stats show that it was a very, very similar close game in the passing department. Rushing was similar. They just had 1 extra touchdown on the ground. And overall, I mean, it was a close battle. And we just lost, which really sucks, dude. Steelers versus Packers Super Bowl rematch with the Steelers winning by a lot. Dev-ups on the offensive side include Tevin Jenkins. David Montgomery obviously let go as he's going to regress really hard. Carter, I would assume, like I said, was not already a superstar, as we had struggles with him early on. And finally maybe picking it, coming together here. Really nice re-signing, and I can kind of see why he sucks in pass rush department. He's like a block-shedding god. Way to go, EA. Edge rushers getting block shed instead of their actual pass rush moves. We trade 27, 81, and 91 for a pick 20. I don't know if this wide receiver is going to be worth it, but we need more wide receivers, as I don't even know if that wide receiver we've been trying to groom is going to be the guy. And Johnson looks to be the best based on speed and size. Little iffy in the catching and deep route, but he has B's in some of the other route running and an A-spec catch, and he's very good at jump ball and all that. I'm going to go for him. 6'4", 21 years old, hidden development trait, 93 jump, 91 speed, just enough speed to get it done, kind of getting our Claypool back, if you will. And, of course, the linebacker that I was thinking about going for goes right before a pick. I'm going to go take a risk on him, and normal dev. We did pay Cole Kmet, but in fairness, he's kind of on the older side, so you never know how long he'll actually last. And I did not realize all my linemen were going to be gone, so I'm going to go with Tim Richardson here, who's super strong and super hidden development trait. Going for best available at all times, and he is busted. Hidden development trait. We trade 145, 155, and 187 to the Cardinals for their high draft pick in the 4th, in which we're going to be taking a linebacker. We're just going to take the fastest of the two, which I believe is Mr. Peoples. So another Peoples on the team, 22 years old, 6'3", normal dev, but insanely athletic, with 80 change of direction at 239 pounds. Got some trade offers. I definitely think we should look at lineman trades, but Brian is probably going to stick around as he is a superstar after all. But looking at the overalls, outside of the quarterback, they were pretty decent in fairness. Dev-wise, we're just going to let it play because we don't have time to look at all the devs. This is a long rebuild. Basley for a third-round pick. I think it's absolutely fair. 81 overall, 24-year-old star lineman with like 80-something, like 85-plus finesse moves, or finesse blocking. Pretty fair. The squad doesn't look too different, but Mooney in the slot, obviously he is regressing hard. Cole Kmet, still pretty decent, 91 overall. We have him on like a 3 or 4 more year deal. Tevin Jenkins might need a contract. He's 30, but he's superstar. His finesse blocking sucks, but he is a guard now, so, I'll probably end up re-signing him. And then defensively, so many good players, so many guys that, their time is coming, and guys like Gales, who waited a little bit, finally, their time is here. 24 years old, X-Factor. Lots of potential still, young enough to still develop as well. Season's been a little iffy, but $126 million to spend on quite a lot of starters, actually. Let's think about this. I think Jalen Johnson's still elite, and he will be even when he regresses, so a 1-year 17 for him. 3-year 35 for Tevin. 6-year 75 for Keenan, which is a steal. 5-year 72 for Ellington, which is actually really good because he's amazing. And with John Bryan starting soon, he gets a 6-year 50. Nowhere near as good of a season, but could still be the playoffs, and it's not. 10-7 was not good enough for a playoff berth, with the Dallas Cowboys taking the number 7 seed. They must have also been 10-7. You don't usually see 11-6 as that 7th seed. And correct, we are 10-7. So harsh. Oh, so harsh, especially when you consider like every other team is, well, I guess for the Giants are 9-8 as well, so fair enough, but they were close. But I was about to say every other team, is way below that, but they weren't. Either way, bit of an L. Wasted opportunity. Obviously, we did, quote-unquote, get worse at certain positions. Left tackle was way lower of an overall. Fields played better, though. Rush game was a little bit better with a new running back at the starting spot. Keenan should be a superstar. Cole Kmet, maybe with the yards, maybe an X-Factor. Mooney was okay. Johnson was really good as a rookie. Blocking the left tackle. Wait, that's not the same guy. Left tackle, 10 sacks. But, that's literally what Slater had, maybe even less. And then Kramer, who we just paid 15 at guard. Is he joking? Really? Eco at 11, 10 for Carter. Okay, it was definitely just a straight-up down season. And Anthony Richardson, MVP of the league. I don't know if we would have... Oh, we had Rookie of the Year, which is pretty sick. Actually, he should be a superstar now, unless he already was superstar, which I don't know if he was or not. We didn't check. Bengals with the Super Bowl over the Packers. No MVP can save you there. As we look at our DevOps, Keenan was... actually, he did go to superstar. Johnson was only stars. He is now a superstar. Looking at... Wait, is... Chandler? Okay, Chandler was... I thought it said 81. I was like, how is he regression so early? DevOps on the defense doesn't appear to be a single one, sadly. Tristan Wirfs. Oh my, he is a beast. Tyreek Monroe is very interesting as Ika. I don't know if he needs a contract soon enough, but Blockshed God and Moreau. Man, that is kind of busted. There's some really solid players here, but for the most part, we don't really need anything, and all the players we maybe do need, positions we do need, are made up of a bunch of 30-plus-year-olds. Probably going to take a look at Dalton Jackson and Barkley here, two really solid young players that aren't really even asking for that much, and see where we're at. That guy looks pretty good, too. I mean, there are some decent... They went for Basley, and they didn't re-sign him, bro. Come on. We're going to trade with the Rams. This is a really good pick from 18, as I have nothing that's really that high of a draft pick that I want to take. I kind of want to see what they go, though, which is a tight end. He was very fast, but he was also 6'3", so it's eh. And the other linebacker, Armstead, is good, but I think we need two linebackers going forward, so I'm going to go with Aaron Short as well. He's not super great, but an A Blockshed is really good. He's fast enough, and of course his zone coverage is B to C. I mean, he looks okay with an A hit power. Aaron Short's going to be the choice, and he is hidden. That's all I asked for. Change direction is awful, but fast enough. We ended up adding a second round next year to trade down to 31, which we're going to be taking Mr. Roman Armstead, who is also hidden, and kind of as expected, considering he's an outside linebacker, might be better than the inside linebacker that we just grabbed. We traded for this and a second next for the Falcons' third this year, and I think we traded 2/5 this and our pick 18 for pick 6 from the Rams, which will give us back-to-back picks here, which will mean we're taking a DT kind of for the future. Once again, we don't really have anything to grab as we're just, rebuilding the team really successfully right now, but Griffith looks pretty good with that finesse move. We're going to take him, and he's also hidden. We're kind of killing the drafts, even though we're grabbing players, once again, that we probably won't start for a long time, maybe even ever. We currently have a DT at number 3 that probably won't even play or hasn't played yet, at least. And then James Gaddis, the 22-year-old guard, maybe built more for center. That's a little more expected for a hidden development trade player. But once again, another great draft, and I mean, what else would you expect? Although I will say that, the hiddens are more common this year, so if they're not superstar or better, they're good drafts, but they're not like, it's not that crazy anymore to land, this many hiddens, right? All right, here we go with the draft recap. Yeah, like I said, the overalls aren't super great, so if these guys are all star, it's not as great as we thought. And then, of course, we did land a 97 kick power punter. He'll be sitting a little bit, though, while Mann finishes out his 2-year 5 that we just re-signed him to. And we grabbed a 4th-round wide receiver who was fast. Looked pretty decent with his route running, but, it wasn't super great, actually. And the rest, we'll take a look at the devs when it actually, comes down to them being used, maybe next season, late in the season, whatever. As right now, we're kind of thinking about the future. Like I said, Queen needs a contract. We just got him a franchise tag for $12.5 million. And, he's an 87 overall, regressing. He's 31 years old, so he'll be replaced next season. And I don't know who else you have to pay, but, I mean, we're in a pretty good spot. We just haven't been able to get over the hump. We are losing players. We are dropping overall as a whole. Overall, but we're still probably the best or one of the best teams in the league. And, we're kind of struggling a little bit to consistently make the playoffs and definitely struggling to win games in the playoffs. We traded the right outside linebacker Vernon, who's fast, star development trade, and never had a chance to start, to the Bills for a late projected or mid to late projected 3rd. We are now in Season 8, didn't even make the playoffs last year, and have not consistently won playoff games in general. Offensive line looks pretty good. Receiving threats, definitely getting better, but I will say we kind of have undersupplied fields a little bit in this one, just like the real-life Bears. However, Keenan is now 91 overall. Johnson, I mean, we've got some big dudes. I mean, he should have so many security blankets. It's unbelievable. This man should feel, like it's way too hot with all those blankets. Good one. DBs, obviously Johnson needs to be replaced soon, but we have Witherspoon as an 87 and 84 overall. Brian, his superstar, we have him locked in until he's like 30, I believe. Zone coverage is amazing. Man coverage needs some work, but he is, he's got potential. He's very talented, just like some other guys. Not really getting his chance to shine just yet, though. And yeah, hoping Gales can take the next step. We have to pay him, so it'd be nice to see him do really well early on so we can make the decision to re-sign him, because if not, it's hard to let an X Factor go, but if he sucks, you suck, right? Like, what else can you say? We have absolutely turned it around pretty damn well, and there are some re-signings here. I don't want to lose McDonald. He actually played pretty well for us on top of it. Can we get him on like a 5-year 73? Happy to resign. We'll take that. Probably could have done more years, but I just kind of wanted to test it out, and he was like, I don't need a test. I will take that money gladly. Gales, 8 sacks. I mean, we're a little past mid-season, but on par for at least 12. I don't know if he's the guy. Should we do like a 40? Whatever, dude. A 5-year 62. Really? Okay, I mean, I agree, but considering what his, like, starting value was, I thought he would have definitely taken that. Coleman, that was the DT we were talking about that just never had a chance. And then Pryor, I mean, star development trait, decent. I mean, I think he deserves a backup contract. To the playoffs, an insane turnaround of the season. Wow, what a terrible loss. But obviously, we started off 0-4, finishing with a winning record and a playoff berth. You can see here, we lost these 4 games, won this one, and moved on and won the rest. Obviously, I had to change the playbook. I went to the Chiefs, which was a little bit better than the Falcons. I will say, though, I accidentally had it on multiple zone run rather than vertical zone run. So maybe Atlanta was still good. It's just had the wrong scheme type. Fields was okay. Definitely worse than previous years. Gibbs, once again, okay. Keenan was good. And everyone else, I mean, obviously Cole Kmet, everyone else is pretty basic. I want to get some seasons where we have 2 wide receivers with over 1,000, and that's all I asked for, as Carter has 20 sacks. And like I said with Gales, on par for 12, got to 12, 9 for Ika and Knox. That's a really good pass rush game season. Brian and Witherspoon finally getting their time to shine, combined for 7 interceptions. Kicking was actually really bad, and then Man has been great at punting ever since we signed him. Could see we didn't actually even win Defensive Player of the Year this season with Carter, but could see a dev up and should see a dev up from Carter. Looking at some awards, Jenkins, another offensive lineman award. I don't think he'll get to X Factor because I think he can only get 1 award up. Be kind of curious to maybe do like a YouTube short on if a lineman can actually get to X Factor, because obviously you get an award dev up, but it might be max. You'd have to be a superstar to start and then get an award. I don't know if that's possible, though, as we are in the championship round going up against the Seahawks. I believe it's seen. We ended up losing, dude. No Super Bowl here. Once again, we cannot go in because, I mean, it's just going to take so long to do that. What were the scores again? I don't really care. Let's just take a look at what happened in the loss. The loss is all anyone's going to remember anyway, so those are going to be the stats we check. I mean, Fields technically outplayed Bryce Young. Obviously, he had the interception, but that could be situational. And once again, the run game has really let us down big time. Keenan was great. Johnson was great. I mean, defense had 3.5 sacks. We just didn't put up enough points. It's unfortunate. We had a chance to go to the Super Bowl. But in turn, like usual, the sad part, we did lose to the Super Bowl champions. So was it kind of destiny type of situation? I don't know. Keenan didn't go up in dev, which is a little bit of a surprise. Jenkins did not go to X Factor, which we expected. Johnson, obviously, some of those guys didn't even get to 1,000 yards. Carter, still not X Factor. And no dev-ups at all. We had 0 dev-ups on the season. Even Carter didn't get a dev-up, which is really shocking. But amazing team, about to lose Queen. I didn't even think about it. But Armstead and Short, both star development trait. And did we have anyone else on offense? Oh, Gaddis was a superstar, was he? That's pretty clutch, actually. We'll take that. Maybe he plays. He kind of feels like a tackle more than anything. Pass blocking in general is kind of a little iffy, but overall, pretty good stuff, and we re-signed Chandler to a 3-year 30. The offensive line is kind of locked in other than maybe the center, so I don't want to pay too many more linemen, even though the deals have been decent. Yeah, I mean, it's a good team that maybe needs to replace its running back, though, as Gibbs has looked bad. Some old players. We didn't get Jalen Johnson back, even though I wanted him. Nobody's offering him, though, so I probably will offer him that original 1-year 15 that he declined from me. And free agency's pretty weak. Obviously, you have guys that, would be super bid ward in like a user league, but at this point, with the XP sliders on the way they are, I feel like a lot of teams have some really good players like this. So they're not like super rare, and they're kind of a dime a dozen. Johnson, final season with us. Can we get him a ring? It would be kind of clutch if we did, assuming he, signs. I would imagine he will, but yeah, Bryant really getting scammed here, but I mean, he's getting paid to play, kind of role player, really, slot. But yeah, Jalen Johnson back as a 90 overall. He's like 91 man, 90 zone, 90 speed. That's still plenty of talent to stick around as a starter. All right, so we're trying to go a little all in because Jordan Addison is a pretty solid slot type wide receiver. He's kind of on the smaller side, but they don't want the trade I'm offering. But if I remove James, they're a little more interested. Pick 18 and 30, I guess, for him would be absolutely worth it if you can improve it a little bit. So the 7th round pick next year is worth more than an 84 overall, 6'3" wide receiver who's 20-some years old, like 24, 25. Way to go, EA. Way to go. But, of course, now this is a ultra-talented wide receiver room that, I mean, there should be no excuses for us. Like, we should not suck. Like, simply put, I'm going to trade James off for, like, a pretty high third if I can. James of the Chiefs for a 3rd-round pick. They absolutely needed a wide receiver, so it's pretty dumb that they would even trade us Addison when they need... Nah, but in fairness, it's not a bad trade for them. 2 first-round picks, 18 and 30, with Barry James. That's pretty crazy. It's pretty good value. We trade a 3rd and 4th this with merit for 43 from the Bills, and I, believe it or not, think I'm going to be taking a running back. He's like a little bit of a dual-style guy. Normally, we just get these late-round, power backs that never really seem to do anything for us, as our running back is kind of iffy. So I'm going to end up taking Mr. Kari Holtz, who is obviously very fast on top of it, and he is our choice. 92 speed, 90 excel. Change direction is not great, but hidden development trait, 21 years old. He's not going to be the starter out the gate, but if Gibbs is really, really, really bad, maybe we give him a chance. We give the Colts a 3rd and a 4th this with a 6th next year. Obviously, that 4th is super high, so it's basically 2/3 for a higher third, which we are going to be taking a lineman of some sort at this point as best available, kind of situation, and obviously positional need. I don't really know what we need more, but Hayward looks better, so Hayward it is. Emmanuel Hayward, another hidden development trait player. I'm surprised we haven't seen more hidden linemen or normal linemen, but they are kind of a dime a dozen now. And with Stalker still there, I'm going to take him as well, and we get him. It's our original pick in the 2nd round, which is like pick 17. And that's kind of really all I need, so I might be trading this down for next year. And I don't know how important it is to have a competent quarterback, but this guy looks pretty decent with good throw power, so Kenny Connell we're going to take, and he's in development trade. Can I pick him or what? Of course, it's not going to matter. He's never going to start, and he's probably going to be star, but still pretty impressive. Considering the highest pick we had after the trade for that wide receiver was a 3rd-round pick, this turned out to be pretty good. Obviously, the tight end's kind of crap. The quarterback's kind of crap. But other than that, hiddens across the board as well. And 84 juke move. Oh, stiff arm sucks, but trucking 77. Kari Holt, I'm kind of curious to see what his dev is. 74 overall is a little bit on the lower side, but it would be nice to see a superstar plus, which we do not see. Yeah, the quarterback's pretty decent, actually. I don't know what his dev is, but it's pretty decent. It's not going to matter, because like I said, no matter what, he's not going to start for us. But yeah, expected star. I think it's Season 9, something like that. Season 8, Season 9. The team, at least at wide receiver, has definitely got better. Gibbs will pay attention to that position, as Holt looks pretty good, and Gibbs hasn't been great, so it doesn't take much to be better than him. And then Brian will be the new number 2 corner after this year is up with Jalen Johnson leaving. It's a good team. It doesn't seem like we have any issues with money or anything, too much going forward. And we're, coming off of a season where we almost made the Super Bowl. So high hopes. On the Super Bowl we go. $100 million, but we have to pay Andre Carter. We have to pay Justin Fields. Ika's on the list. Witherspoon's on the list. Flo at his age, I think, should be let go. Morgan, we'll take a look at his rating. So, I mean, we're actually starting to see some, contracts that maybe we can't afford. This guy we actually found in free agency. He is quite amazing, actually. 84 speed, 88 power move with 78 block shed. Not a bad little backup, and probably going to lose him right away, though. But Carter has kind of been worth it. His turnaround has been pretty damn solid, so a 3-year 75, and he's glad to take it. We are glad for him to take it. Fields as an X Factor, I think, is worth at least a 3-year 92. Glad to see it, so he'll be here till 34 at least. Ika, has he actually been developed properly? Probably, right? Yeah, we need more of a... Actually, we probably do... We're in a 4-3 right now, so Ika's probably not the best scheme fit, but I kind of like him still, so we're going to go with a 2-year 33. Let's try to get like a 2-year 35, something to re-sign him. And Witherspoon is the other guy that we absolutely need. So a 6-year 85. And yeah, Morgan is more of like a tackle than he is like an interior lineman. But since he's 6'1", I think we're going to let him go, even though he's crazy with the finesse. Headed to playoffs, and this team had itself a season 15-2 with the Vikings being 1-16. We were 10 straight wins without a loss, and then we started to lose a little bit, but only 2 games out of a 17-game season is pretty impressive, losing to the Packers and the Packers. Okay, well, it's not like they're in the playoffs or anything. Great, love it. Of course, let's take a quick look at the season stats. I didn't see anyone on that right side that was of our team, but Fields, with the same exact scheme, may have won himself MVP. That is a great touch on the pick ratio. Yards are pretty damn good. Gibbs he's just good enough, right? You might as well keep him out there. 3 1,000-plus yard receivers with Addison playing the slot, putting up some numbers. Johnson was kind of down, to be honest. Looking at sack totals, a lot better than normal. Gotta say, McDonald has been one of the best blockers from left tackle I've seen in some time. Normally we give up 15 sacks a season. He keeps going back and forth, looking pretty good. Carter, a contract expiring is not true. We just re-signed him to a 3-year 75. Same with Ika, 3-year at 30 or 2-year 36. Knox was pretty good, and then Gales was awful. Picks are pretty tame. Kicking was pretty bad again from Leonard. Man was decent. Punt return, kick return game was useless. Awards, we'll take a quick look, but I don't think outside of MVP we would have had anything. We did not even get MVP. Number 3. Really? That is shocking. But okay, fair enough. And yeah, no awards at all, but a bye week. The Cowboys, definitely not an easy team, but we have 7 overalls on them. Glad to see that means nothing. Sweet. Already lost. Lost by 4 against the Cowboys, and Fields always throwing that 1 interception, but a pretty good game regardless. And obviously Gibbs was horrendous in the ground game. Cole Kmet was pretty solid. Johnson was pretty solid. Yikes, dude. Can we just get to 1 Super Bowl here, please? And of course, we lose to the team that won the Super Bowl. So it's did we suck and not do anything right out of the gate, or were we going to lose to the team, that was going to win the Super Bowl regardless, right? It's just who knows? Cole Kmet is an X Factor. He's, 30 years old now. 32! Holy crap, he's old, but he's an X Factor, so that regression could be delayed a bit with that dev up. We'll take it. Addison, I think, was already an X Factor, and then defensively, any sort of dev ups at all? And once again, the answer is sadly no. Free agency's got some names, including Foskey. We really need a tight end going forward, as Cole Kmet needs a contract, and yeah, I don't think we're going to give him one if he's going to be 33 in his next year for us. Tony Morgan, of course, let go to free agency. A bunch of 28, 29-year-olds. It's just tough because it's a lot of these guys are push you over the edge players, but I feel like we've had the team to push over the edge and we just can't win. We've just struggled. I don't know what it is. I know some of the other teams in the league are decent, but we're highest overall on all of them. I was just trying to take a look and test the waters here at pick 2 because there is a very solid looking corner that, if I had to guess, is probably a generational. And they took it. Pick 28, 27, and Richardson for pick 2 overall. I also don't think that's fair enough, so we're also going to end up giving them pick 60, which I think should be fair all in all. But the problem is, this guy could go number 1 overall. He's a top 5 talent with a top 5 grade, but there was a quarterback above him. I really should have looked to see if the corner was guaranteed to be there, because I don't know how many teams really even need quarterback at this point. All right, Minnesota, please don't take him. And they take wide receiver. That guy actually did look pretty damn good, too. I seen a couple of A's on him, but the position we wanted the most was cornerback. Torrey Whitfield, not the fastest guy in the world, but with all those A's, he's got to be an X factor, right? And if not, he's at least, some sort of 80 overall star, which, we kind of need cornerback going forward. There is also this other corner that looks pretty decent. He's more raw, but the fact that he's 6'4", 21 years old, and kind of built like Woolen is very interesting. In a user draft, absolutely. If you're going to use the player, Taylor's the guy. But considering I really believe that this guy's an X-Factor generational, we're going to take Torrey Whitfield. And off to a good start with Hidden. Also, way faster than I expected. Of course, it did say great speed, I think, on it, and maybe Elite Excel, but still didn't expect that was actually going to be the case. I thought it was definitely going to be the 40 time that kind of dictated that, but that's pretty good already, and that's not even, looking at the dev. And with this pick, we are absolutely going with Nick Stephenson, 22 years old, built to play center, hidden development trait a billion times over for these linemen. Didn't get to fully scout the rest of the guys. Of course, this corner actually looks kind of decent. Linebacker, we've grabbed so many, but I think what we're going to do is just keep moving until it's down to either Gray or Mooney. Is that Mooney or Money? I don't care. And here goes another linebacker that we're probably never going to use. Mr. Mooney, 6'3", 21 years old, also hidden. Insane change of direction. I mean, there's a decent chance he has a starting spot. That is pretty insane athleticism. Available salary cap is down to $27 million, and he's an 82 overall, looking promising. Don't know if we actually have a starting spot right now for him, but I figured with Brian kind of, well, one, I went for best available player. Two, with Brian kind of like starting late, I feel like maybe he could just sit as a slot receiver or a slot corner. And we did draft a generational as expected. The Vikings kind of needed a cornerback, so I'm a little surprised that they didn't go with him. I am curious to see what they landed. Oh my! Okay, I don't know if they actually need a wide receiver that bad, but a 6'3", 93 speed, 98 excel, I would assume generational. He has 99 jumping, 99 spec catch, 89 release, 87 catch in traffic, 85 catching. He is absurd. Could you imagine he's like star dev? That would be the biggest joke of all time. So 2 generationals in the same class. I mean, he's absurd as well. The speed's a little bit slower than I would have thought, though. But let's take a look at his dev. Definitely not going to be an X Factor. I would guess star or superstar. Okay, I mean, that's a really good player, too. But wow, okay. And for them to land him at 7, that is kind of absurd. Wow, that was a pretty insane top 10. I believe this is season 10, so we're at least halfway through. Don't know if we're going to do more than, 15 or 20, but we'll see. And yeah, I mean, this is what the team looks like. There's, some regressing players. There's also some progressing players. Johnson, he's 87 overall, needs a contract, but should go up in overall. Obviously, Ika nearing the end, potentially. Carter, if he doesn't get a superstar X Factor, could be nearing the end, 2 years from now. So our window is probably minimum 2 years, but also could at the same time be maximum 2 years. So please give us at least a trip. That's all I ask. Just get us there. I have no idea how we're having such a bad season, but we got to think of the future, and holy crap, the future could be bleak. 41 mil. Obviously, you want to keep Johnson around, but guys like Gibbs and Cole Kmet specifically may be gone. Tevin's got to be gone. Yikes. A little bit of yikes around here, but if we really wanted to, we could keep Gibbs, but he has kind of been pretty average for us. If I can get him on like a 2-year deal instead, I probably would, but if I can't, maybe not. Touchdowns are really bad from him, but yards per carry about par. Hey, free XP, baby. I wonder if we actually have a chance here. And we may have, but 8 and 9 finish. And Johnson, our superstar big wide receiver, decided he didn't want to play for us anymore. This has been a hell of a bad season. Gibbs is going to be gone. Johnson apparently is going to be gone, but with the way he's playing, do I even care? And then, of course, Cole Kmet's going to be gone because of the age. I imagine maybe we try to get him on like a 1-year deal. D-line, I mean, okay pressure. Wait, how the hell is Will Height way better than Gales? Tell me. he didn't start over him. I mean, they're both like similar numbers, right? So maybe they just split, but Will Height was better than him. So I don't know what else to tell you. I got him on a 2-year 9. And I mean, if you're going to play well, I guess might as well start, I suppose. But award wins, we had none. Packers getting in the Super Bowl with the Ravens this time and a Packers win. We could probably tag Johnson. We'll see what the situation is there. DevOps looks different, but I don't think it actually is. I think we're exactly the same as we were before. And then defensively, it seems like Knox has went to X Factor, and so has Ellington, which are dubs, if you ask me. Gibbs is back on a 2-year 22. He wasn't great, but he's a pretty good player still, and he'll only be 32 when that contract's up. And, it said that Johnson was not interested. I will say he still looks pretty uninterested. But I guess he's not. 4-year 78? Thanks. Okay, well, he's back to not being interested. What's the tag? 30 mil. Yeah, I can't re-sign him. If he's in free agency and he wants to join back, I'll do it. But he was red interest from the beginning. He looks so good still, but at the same time, hasn't played that well, and deep route sucks. But I don't really care too much about a deep route from a big guy like him. He's such a beast, but he didn't want to re-sign, and he doesn't really seem to be utilized as much anyways. It's also crazy to think that Leonard's now 32. I know he started off old, but 32 years old. What was the contract? Just a 1-year ask. Hasn't played well, but he still is good enough, probably. So 1 year 4.3. We're also going to be franchise tagging Cole Kmet on a 1 year 13.6. It's kind of the best we're going to get out of him anyways this final year. And yeah, we are losing some starters, but in a weird way, it's like maybe we need new blood because the team has been such a high overall forever, yet we just missed the playoffs at 8-9. So maybe we just need new names. Gales doesn't seem to be the guy, but we already offered him a pretty insane deal, so I don't even know what's going to happen there. But overall, we're still in a decent spot. But I will say Fields is now a 91 overall. And we maybe need a new wide receiver 3, but it's not the biggest need in the world. Addison's, 30 years old, so he's still got plenty of time left. 30 years old, and obviously an absolute beast outside of release, which I will say for a guy his size is probably a pretty big L, but need a new right guard. We're going to need a new right tackle for the future, but we do have guys like Hayward and Stephenson that can stand in. Same with Stalker. And then defensively, linebacker would not hurt. Oh, Mooney was a superstar. He is absolutely replacing Armstead this next upcoming season. So there's that. DT wouldn't hurt as Ika's 30, and I don't know if we're going to pay him again. Yeah, I wonder. I'm not surprised that a 90 overall 25-year-old jump ball god has 17 offers. We ended up signing Miles Mixon, the 90 overall 30-year-old tackle who will be playing right guard for us. He's actually pretty damn athletic. So we traded back about 20 spots to gain 2 4th-round picks in the second-round pick, and we didn't have a first-round pick because of the trade for that generational corner. Christian Harris is a guy that I didn't even scout. Completely forgot that we needed a tight end, kind of, for the future. And Christian Harris looks pretty good. That Excel looks bad, but great speed. Good agility. He has some pretty decent looking key ratings, but they could be C's, D's. They could also be B's. And I'm going to take the chance on Christian Harris, who is a normal dev tight end. We traded 3 4th-round picks for the high 3rd-round pick from the Eagles, which it's another year, so another linebacker. Gooden looking very solid with the A zone, the A tackle, 22, 6 foot tall, super fast. Welcome to the team. And another normal. Alrighty. The 1 year we're really starting to fall behind a little bit. The money's starting to catch up, the debt at least. And where our team's getting a little worse is of course the 1 year that we actually really, really suck in the draft. At this point, I think I'm probably going to be looking for DeConti or Walt Curtis. And the 13 Barrow is still there, but DeConti looks the best by far. Gonna grab him, see what we get, and glad to see the blue. Trade a 4th and a 5th for 97, because he is still there. He's gonna grab him, and I think he's gonna be a bit of a steal. He looks really solid. A bunch of A's on that list, but you never know, could be normal dev. And here he is, Walt Curtis, the left guard who looks really solid. Generational guard? I mean, he's hidden, so maybe. Unlikely. I don't even know if that's possible, but looks pretty good to me. Could always use another kicker. This guy has elite kick power. Kyle Robinson, 96 kick power. And with that speed, it kind of felt like he was going to be a generational, but he wasn't. Still solid looking, though. 20 mil left in cap. Let's see what our draft looked like. 73, 72, 73, 75 for Curtis. 73 for the kicker. And then this random wide receiver, 66. 73 overall normal. And I think the linebacker was, what, 72? Definitely a lot of potential. But, yikes. Okay, so we said, what, a 2-year window? Is this our second, maybe third year since saying that? It's more real than ever, to be honest. The window is shrinking. Fields is only a 91 overall now, and climbing. Yeah, I'm a little surprised he has regressed as hard as he has already, though. And also surprised that it wasn't his speed that was taking over anything. You can see 2 to throw power, 2 to mid, 1 throw on the run lost. While only 33. I'm not really sure why he's, regressed so fast, but hopefully they chill a little bit this upcoming season. The O-line, I will admit, is kind of falling apart a little bit, especially that right tackle spot. And then linebackers, we're kind of regressed there. Ellington's 29, and, corners are great. Safety's got to become a problem soon, especially Catalan, who is now 30 years old. Maybe he's down his last season or two. It's... it should have been a Super Bowl win maybe a year or two ago, and now it's really like, okay, I don't know if this is going to happen at all. So it's re-sign time, and it may be time to make the tough decisions to move on from some long-time starters, especially with the interest being red. Like, why is the interest red on these guys? I've kind of just accepted that, but values, financials, okay, warm weather state, no income tax. Wow, he is a greedy moaf, and I respect it. Base for 3 historic championships. I mean, historic championships or Super Bowls? Championships then should be up there. Super Bowls, I get it. But let's re-sign some of the guys we want to keep for sure, like Gaddis, maybe short. And those are the only 2, guaranteed. Everyone else is kind of like, we might move on. And we're back, 11-6. Of course, the Packers win the division at 13-4. I don't know. Oh, Keenan was on the list. Look at those numbers. The numbers look pretty good from here. Fields' picks are high, though. Gibbs looks terrible. Keenan was great. Everyone else was pretty if. Cole Kmet has been really good throughout this, though. And sack totals, not terrible. Speaking of sack totals for the defense, really good. 4 guys with 10+. And, of course, Knox killing with the tackles for loss on top of it. Picks were pretty good. Kicking was better than normal. Punting was pretty good. Could it be the year? No bye week, but could it be the year? Keenan was the offensive player of the year, which could that maybe me and best wide receiver? He's got to be an X factor after that. The Cowboys, who I believe did beat us the most... Couldn't even finish my sentence. The most recent time we were in the playoffs. And yet again, no playoff win. What can I do to make the Super Bowl? I really don't know. We have the best team. We've had the best team. And we just can't do it. Fields, 3 interceptions. 3. How? Bro, how is he throwing so many picks, bro? And shocker, who would have thought? The team we lost to right out the gate made it to the Super Bowl. I mean, we literally lost to the team that pretty much went all the way. DevOps, definitely Keenan. Anyone else, though? Keenan, obviously, X Factor, and I believe that is it, but... Man, that is disheartening, to say the least. Short does go up in Dev, and Mooney, I think, was our starter for the full year. He just moved over for some reason after that. God damn, that's so annoying. Carter, would love to see him get a damn Dev up. Ika would be nice. We did get Ika on a 1-year 15, so he's back for another season. I really don't know what else we could do to add to this team. I mean, the team is insane. I think we're going to let Catalan go because his ask is quite insane. Maybe we actually try to, cheapen him a little, cheap out on him. And he's like, I'm not playing for you. And it's like, oh, the franchise tag's only 12 mil. Why not? Or we do that for Cole Kmet, because Cole Kmet has been great for us, and it would be nice to see another season out of him. I don't think it's going to matter, whether he's here or not, because clearly the team is busted in a bad way. But we're going to try to just offer him, a 1-year 12.6. I think that's something around he took it. It's around what the franchise tag is anyways, which opens up the option to also do that for Catalan. A 1-year 14.5 is the best I'd do. He appreciates the offer, goes to free agency, and the franchise tag is 16.2. Best of luck, pal. Leonard is still really good, so I'm going to give him another contract if he wants to, which he does, 1 year, 4.4, which I don't know why he wouldn't. That probably makes him the highest paid kicker in the league, I'd imagine. So we have about 37 mil left. Fields, what overall is Fields? Hopefully he hasn't regressed too hard, because, I mean, he's a 90 overall, so he's regressed a little bit more, but he's keeping up. He also has another upgrade point he can use. The throw power is looking very bad, though, as he loses 2 on this regression. How is he losing so much throw power, but his speed is fine? Huh? What's going on here? Of course, looking at the receivers, they're great. Tight end is still good enough. We need a right tackle, but we could just use Stalker. So I'm probably not going to pay a free agent. And then Mooney anyways, could play right out. Probably looking to draft DT and D-end, and then safety, we need somebody. Maybe we can get that in free agency, though. We signed a 1 year 14 with Catalan for his final year, and then a 3 year 24 for Carter, who's a little iffy in the pass block, but overall a superstar 27-year-old tackle. Gives us a little bit of money still to work with for re-signings, and with the way the contracts are, you kind of can't move on from players early, though, right? Like, it's like you always have a bonus that you're giving out. But Carter needs to be replaced. Addison maybe needs to be replaced. Ellington absolutely needs to be replaced, so that linebacker drafting of ours is something we're going to have to get back onto. I guess I'll take him. 6'5", 21 years old. He is hidden. He is 91 speed, and he is 94 jumping. Very similar to Johnson, who I don't even know where he went, to be honest. And obviously Johnson turned out pretty good for us, even though he decided he wanted to leave. All right, so we got the start of the third, trading down a good couple of spots, gaining a 4th and a 5th. Adrian Hughes is going to be my choice just because we got him scouted super hard, and he looks pretty good with that 1-2 talent grade. Adrian Hughes it is. Hidden development traits, and we have ourselves another star or better offensive lineman. 4th round, 5th round this year, and a 4th next year for 75 from the Panthers. My tight end I wanted went to the Rams. Kind of curious to see how good he was, but you know, it's kind of one of those situations as usual where it's like you let it fall, and then you take whoever is kind of remaining. Which in this case, we kind of need... Oh, safety's gone, actually. I was going to say we kind of need safety. DT's up there, too, though. So Clyde Walker, please be 21. Nice. 21. Is that power move that he's good at? Usually it's... Oh, no, yeah, I was about to say it is usually finesse at these kind of rounds. So Clyde Walker it is. And another hidden development trait player. This time, I think we will find ourselves a guy that will end up starting, though, as, you know, we're seeing the end of the term of guys like Ika. It's the late 3rd, and I kind of want to go for Lawrence Mills. Very athletic, a little raw, but I might take the chance on him. It's late 3rd anyway, so Lawrence Mills is going to be my choice. Sadly, normal development trait, but at 21 years old, he could still be, you know, decent for us. Maybe. Draft recap, 74, 73, 73, 69, which is a little bit of an L, 72, and then some bums after that. Chauncey James, since he is going to be a guy that probably sees the most play time early, spec and jump is nice. I do want to take a look at his dev. Normally we kind of skip this because it's a bit of a long rebuild. I've done my best to try and cut this as short as possible, but it's probably not going to go so well. Star dev. It is what it is. Never use Hayward, so we trade him off to the Chiefs for a 4th round pick. Some of these guys need contracts, so I do not want to pay them, and we will not pay them, so might as well ship them off for something. Stalker, who's a little bit better and playing tackle, will give us a 3rd round pick in comp. Is it officially year 13? How the hell is foot over James? But, you know, the team has had a bunch of different looks. However, with adding guys like Carter in, I mean, the offensive line looks as good as ever. Fields has dropped a little bit, but the receivers are great as ever, other than maybe Cole Kmet regressing. D-line's amazing. Once again, we're going to keep simming. I can't do anything about... Short is a superstar. I can't do anything about us actually winning games or not, so we're just going to roll with the punches and hope one of these years they're just like, hey, maybe these guys deserve a chance. We have a bunch of money, but also a bunch of names to re-sign. If I could do a 2-year for Addison, that would be much better, but you know what? If he's willing to take a 3-year 85, hey... As his overall, his dev, fair enough. Gilbert Ellington's going to be gone. Gibbs is definitely going to be gone. Fields, the whole point of this is to try and see if we can win him a Super Bowl or as many Super Bowls as possible. So a 2-year deal worth 38 is super fair for us. And, I mean, hey, if you can't deliver, maybe you deserve a little bit less money. Ika is still around, and if he's willing, I'd be willing to give him another deal, although he kind of doesn't seem like he is. Anyone else? Holt could actually be our next starting running back. He's 24, but it's still not like, it's not like crazy old. We could probably do better, but that's still decent money, even if he just stayed as a backup, so we'll offer that. To the playoffs, looking good enough to make it, and we are. We win the division at 11-6, right at the end as well. Can we get in? Thank you. Stats and awards. Fields, touchdowns are down a little bit. Yards are not great, but the picks are down, which is what we love to see. Gibbs, he's been like a 4 to 4.1 yard per carry guy his whole damn career. Keenan, 1,300 yards, 16 touchdowns. Whereas the receivers kind of lacking. Blocking. Man, I am really impressed by McDonald. He has been amazing. The new guy, Carter, was a little iffy. Sack totals, really bad from the group, and we just paid Carter like a 3 or 85 or something. Maybe shouldn't have done that. Leonard was pretty decent again. Guerrero, really good. And that's it. Award wins, I'm trying to think. Maybe wide receiver Keenan might be able to pull that off. Anthony Richardson back in MVP, and Keenan, player of the year for offense and best wide receiver. Mans has really put it on ever since, being the true number one. Also, I need to take a look at this because the Lions are 10-7, but if I'm not mistaken, we played them when they were 10-0. Am I wrong? I'm almost certain that's what happened. Bro, they lost 7 straight. What kind of season? See, I paid attention. I'm not just going through the motions. I'm paying attention. That's kind of absurd, but can they continue the losing streak, or will they win in the playoffs? And of course, they lose 7 in a row, and then the one game they want to snap the losing streak on is the playoff game, the first one against us. I'm just about done. I'm almost kind of praying Justin Fields retires so I can just be like, hey, 15-year rebuild, and, we rebuild the Bears until Justin Fields retires and just be done with it, because this has become quite the pain. Ravens beat the Cowboys for the Super Bowl win. Offensively, no dev-ups. Cole Kmet has regressed hard. I think it's about time we finally let him go peacefully into the night. And no other players have dev'd up. I've also kind of maybe gave up on Ellington a little easier than I should have, as he is really good, even at 31 now. Like, 93 block shed, 86 zone is pretty absurd. We ended up getting an $18 million tag on Ellington, so we continue the kind of window. It's not a great window, but, there's an okay view out of it. Justin Fields has now regressed to an 88 overall. Still very talented, but that throw power is dropping. We have signed an 86 overall 25-year-old superstar safety on a 5-year, $30 million deal, but he will be playing cornerback for us, and Brian, the 31-year-old corner, that will be playing safety for us. He never developed his man coverage, but his zone is in the 90s, so a little bit of a swap in positions, and we're well back on our way to fighting for another spot. We'll say we definitely did lose some players that we just can't fix in one season. Guys like Cole Kmet, and I think there was another player on defense, and obviously we're going to lose Ellington soon. So, I mean, the running back as well. The window is pretty close already, but, if we couldn't get it done as a super god squad, it would just only make sense from EA's standpoint to be able to do it as a team that just isn't as good. And, of course, Witherspoon, for some reason I thought was on the older side, but 28's not young, but definitely have seen older. Brian being a 31-year-old safety now for us. I thought he would have been the same age as Witherspoon. And McFadden will be, the number 3, probably the number 2 once Witherspoon does regress to below savable. Whitfield needs a 5th-year option, and I'm absolutely going to give it to him because he's going to want a lot of money regardless, so knock that out. And a lot of the interests have been red lately, so at least we avoid that for now. We trade for 38 this and a second round next year from the Bills. Probably going to trade that off, though. I don't know if I trust, whose pick is what. I just know I wanted to trade down into the high second, as we have a few second and third round guys that look pretty good, specifically a tight end and a DT. The DT isn't maybe the biggest need over the tight end, but the DT looks so good, I just can't risk him over anyone. You got an A power move, an A tackle, a B finesse, potentially a block shed. I'll be honest, it's probably unlikely, but This guy looks like he could be the future of the position. Would love to be 21, but it is what it is. And he is hidden development trait. Looks solid from the key ratings and the fact that he is hidden right here. And I will end up trading up with the Bengals anyways, so I guess it really didn't matter regardless. But, you got to guarantee the guy that just looks too good to pass on. We trade 54 and 86, which you could debate. Maybe that 86 is a little too high for it. It's a late third. Who cares? We end up grabbing the tight end, or going to grab the tight end. Don't know if he's going to be hidden, but if he is, he's an automatic starter. If not, well, I don't know. I don't know. This running back looks pretty decent too. But Randy Seymour, 2-3 projected, 21, 6'4", 4'5", 240. Looks pretty good with a bunch of B route running and all that kind of stuff. Like I said, if he's normal, it's an L. If he's hidden, he's auto starter. And he is hidden development trait with 88 speed, excel, and agility. Jumping and change of direction is obviously a little bit on the weaker side, but overall, he looks solid, and he's the automatic starter. There's no question about it. And we're going to go with a safety, Hugh Adams. He's a little bit slower than the Crowley guy I had, but with A tackle C zone coverage, he's at least guaranteed to be okay. And another hidden. We have been hitting in this rebuild. So I traded up to 8 using a third and a fourth next year, which is going to give us Sal Barnes. We need a new left out coming in next season. Right out, left out. We need a new outside linebacker coming in next season. And this guy looks pretty good to maybe take that place. And I lied. Time to get that wiener inside of us. Oh, come on, man. A awareness, A kick power, elite kick power, A accuracy is what I meant to say. 5'8", though, which is strange, but way younger than our previous one. And it sure looks like it. 99 kick power. We have ourselves another. Look at the overalls. Not bad. 75 for the DT. 76 for the tight end. 72 for the safety. Middle linebacker is okay, even though he's normal. Decent wiener. 79 overall for the kicker. Who would think that... Surely he's a generational, right? I looked at our salary cap situation, our player situation in general, and said, you know what? This might be the final season we are as good as we are. Like, we'll still always probably be like a 90-plus overall team or whatever, but there is a bunch of 30-plus-year-olds that are on their final year of their contracts, and I decided to trade our left guard, our center, both backups, but both young stars, and a second-round pick for a superstar running back from the Colts who is 28 years old and just came off of a decent season. The other seasons weren't so good, but this season by far was. And, of course, he's pretty solid. Trucking kind of sucks, but overall, decent juke move, really good spin, and some pretty solid speed. And, of course, he's a decent overall, so he was kind of like the best of that age group. Anyone, younger was lower overall, and anyone older was, well, they were older. Higher overall was older. The Packers are 10-1, so gotta love that. Wow, a 5-year for Keenan, though. He is him, so I do... What? Oh, I went stupid mode and thought that the remaining cap should not have been going down. I don't know if you could, actually. A 4-year 125, I mean, maybe, but you are up there. I really don't want to pay this much for McDonald, but if he's still playing like he normally has, he's kind of had a bad year this season, actually. Knox deserves a contract. He's been him. Wait, what is this? Player friendly? 2-year 42? Or 44? I mean, that's kind of what I was going to do anyways, right? Still need to do more. Yep, really friendly, huh? Nice. Good job, game. He took a 3-year 74. McDonald is kind of my dude, though. Offered Clark a 2-year 19, which is super fair for us. I'm really shocked he took it. Damn, we actually clutched this season up hard and with a win right there at the end. 11-6. Finally, loving to see that. The Packers were like 10-2, 11-2, and we actually beat them on top of it and just went on that streak, which was huge for this team's chance at the playoffs, which obviously ended up becoming a playoff berth. Looking at the offense, I will say, in fairness to Keenan, he is that guy. He probably does deserve that contract. We gave him a 4-year 128, so fair enough. And of course, McDonald gives up his worst season yet after we pay him. Love that. We'll give it to Gales. He did actually kind of turn it on, and he ended up making the playoffs. He did make the playoffs, but ended up making that double-digit mark. Knox was crazy. We didn't get him a contract yet, but we can, at worst, tag him. My dream here would probably be to tag Knox, re-sign Gales to a 2-year 40, but I don't know if that's going to happen. But I don't know if we're even going to make the Super Bowl, so let's see what happens here. We win the first game, going against the Panthers, who are also 11-6. We are better than them. We win that. A potential blizzard going against Green Bay. Now we're the championship losers. Green Bay doesn't win in the championship, man. Why? 7-point loss to the Packers. Justin Fields always throwing an interception in the playoffs. It's really annoying. Keenan has been amazing. And another wasted season without a Super Bowl. Not even a Super Bowl trip, bro. Like, don't get me wrong. We know we're the best team in the league. And, it's just the way Sim goes. But it would be nice to actually at least win one. Just win one. Please. That's all I ask. Of course, a bunch of money has spawned. 78 million of it, to be exact. But we need to make sure that we have the money we have to spend next season. There's got to be a few young players every so often that you have to pay, so don't want to blow it all now if we've got to pay some players in the future here. Well, good news, we didn't have any retirements. Bad news, we're still super broke. He wants that 1 year 19. Kind of. He sure doesn't seem like he wants it. Gales would be a guy that is the toughest to replace, so I'm going to try and just do a 2 year 40. That's pain. How much would he want on the tag? Can't afford that, so it'd be nice to actually get this deal with Knox, 2 year 46. Well, if you're choosing one or the other, you're obviously choosing Knox. So Knox is the tag. Ellington's gone. People's literally asking for less than I offered him. 2 year 24. Appreciate the offer. I'm going to free agency because this game is flawless. Brian here is actually not bad. I didn't even try to offer him a deal. Can't really imagine losing both safeties. But don't need to imagine it. It is reality. Of course, Ika's gone. The kicker's gone. That's fine. And then Kramer. How many sacks did he allow? 5 sacks. My man's is pretty good. 16 mil isn't the craziest amount. Exactly. Well, at least we got him back. So 41 mil to replace an edge rusher, 2 safeties, and probably some other crap. Safety, I think we can get away with. I don't think we need to worry about safety. DT, we don't need to worry about because apparently one of the guys we drafted like a season ago or so was Superstar, Mr. Walker, and he will start this season safety-wise. Who's this guy? This is another Superstar we got, Hugh Adams. I'm going to be honest with you, it is really hard to keep track of because obviously I'm not recording these all in one go. My last recording was like 5 hours long, so this one will probably be like another 2 or 3. Hopefully we can knock this recording out right here. Gales is the #1 free agent at the moment. I just need some sort of pass rusher. I'm obviously going to be lowballing some of our players that I can that were on our team, so definitely expect that. A guy like Brian here, it would be lovely to bring him back on like a 1 year, like 7. Because, there's nobody else offering them, so might as well try. All right, the odds we get none of these players, pretty damn high. Let's see what we get, though. And we got Gales. We did not get Gales. Gales went to the Colts on a cheaper deal. Sweet. Brian is also getting a real offer, so we are now down to Ellington, who we have offered, like, peanuts to. The Giants are on him, and we are boned. So we ended up trading 29 this, a 3rd round and 6th round pick next year to move up 8 spots to 21, where I believe we're going to be taking an outside linebacker in Mr. Jefferson. He's a bigger guy, and he's not the fastest, but it's either him or this guy who has B's, and he's also 22. He is very fast, in fairness. If this guy ends up being normal, we'll probably end up taking the other guy too, but A, power move, B, block shed. He kind of fits the bill. He's a little bit on the slower side, but I suppose that means he's not as athletic for, playing coverage, I suppose, so he probably does fit more as an edge anyways, but Keith Jefferson, he's our choice, and he is hidden, and he's got just enough speed, 83 speed, 85 excel, change of direction, agility we don't care about, and we definitely don't talk about. Damn, the Jets just took a DT that looked very good, but of course, didn't really need that position anyway, so I'm not too worried about it. Knox is on a tag and maybe trade, but re-sign him longer term soon enough. Wofford, we need a safety. However, there is a guy like Simmons and a guy like McLaughlin who looks, we don't know their exact ratings, but look pretty similar in fairness, and you don't have to go that high for them. 4.5, 340 versus, what do we got here? He is 5'9", but 4'4", which is quite a bit faster, and then Simmons, who maybe fits a bit better because he's bigger, is very solid. I think I'd rather just wait until one of these guys is the last to go and then grab him and just start him. And I'm not going to lie, I'm a little suspect about this Rakeem Jenkins guy, but he is insanely fast, so I'm going to take a shot on him. And my suspicions may have been right. Obviously, he's insanely athletic, so for a user league, you really don't care about that dev. You're like, damn, we landed ourselves a speedster. Like, that is crazy. 80 change direction is very good for a linebacker. Debatable trade, but a 4th next year and a 6th this year for the Steelers' 4th. It's like mid-4th, I don't care. I don't really care. It's going to go with a wide receiver here, believe it or not. The 2 safeties are still there, so I'm not really pushed to grab any of them yet. But LaMichael Miller looking very good. 21 years old, insanely fast. And he actually has a couple of ratings, C catch and traffic, C deep route. Usually it's all Ds, and they're really good. So Cs could be decent. And he's hidden, which is very decent. I mean, we'll take that. Obviously, there's question marks with the, some of the B to Ds, but it is what it is. Next year's draft's looking a little thin, but we end up trading up to pick 129 to grab Simmons. The other safety is still there, but I mean, at some point, they're going to go soon, and I feel like Simmons is the better of the two. He's also bigger, so let's go with him. Mr. Simmons, normal development trade, 89 speed, 92 excel. He's a bit raw, but he kind of seems to be our only option here as a starter. I may have accidentally simmed our 5th round pick. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. May have accidentally simmed our 5th round pick, but it is what it is. Draft recap, 35 mil in cap. Did we land anyone D? Oh, this draft is looking not so great. 72 overall for Keith Jefferson, who is pretty good, actually. I'm not really sure, maybe speed and all that. I don't know, but he looks pretty good. I don't think he's as bad as it says he is. I was expecting really bad. Jenkins, hit power is decent. Coverage is okay. Block shed's really bad, but he's athletic. Yeah, I mean, this wasn't our best draft. It definitely wasn't. I'm kind of curious to see what the pass rusher we were going to go with in the 2nd round is. Was this Dudley Campbell? I think it's Dudley Campbell. Hidden dev. This definitely was him. Obviously, we don't know what Jefferson's dev is, but I imagine that it's better than this guy. I hope. It's at least the same, which is good. So this is definitely the worst team we've had in a few seasons now, but it's still a team that is capable of winning a Super Bowl. Just got to get past that championship round. How many times have we actually made it there? Like 3 now? Which isn't great, but, considering the Bears don't really seem like they're there right now. They have a lot of potential, but it just seems like that always happens with the Bears. They just have a bunch of potential, and they just don't put it together, and then, they waste it. But at the same time, I don't know if I've seen them have a quarterback this good, like, ever. So, this is a situation that we don't want to blow. Andre Carter now with that crazy upgrade up to 88 power move. However, it's kind of his, last upgrade of his career, probably. This next couple of, this season, next season, maybe at best, are the last 2 kind of years that we have a chance to really do anything. We're getting worse every year, but it's going to get really bad soon. Replacing pass rushers like we just had to, as you could see with the overall drop, is not an easy task. Well, that's a pretty good start. Keith Jefferson is a superstar. Well, okay, so, I forgot that he actually was hidden. I thought he was normal dev, but that's the linebacker. That's a win. $94 million, and the first name I see is Whitfield. That is a 5-year deal worth $115. Thank you for making it easy on me. Kramer needs a contract. Knox is a guy that I feel like could just be here for the rest of his career, right? Please just take the deal, man. Carter, how well has he actually played? I feel like we've given up double digits for every... Ooh. He's having a good year, but every tackle ever. It's just... once again, I always bring it up. I don't know what matters. Is it overall? Is it the actual stats themselves? Because if it is... None of these guys are worth it, and of course the whole kind of point of this is to play it out with Fields, so 1 year, 29, ugh. I'm going to do this right out the gate. I'm going to pull the offer on Carter. I don't think he can pay linemen. I just don't think he can. Maybe the first contract, this is pretty cheap. We did something like this, you can pull that off. But once they get to 30 plus, then it's okay, GG. 2-year 64 for Justin Fields, and Knox is playing his game again, so we're going to tag him again. Not a bad turnaround of the season. We've been doing this lately, and we are at 12-5. The Packers are still that team to beat, though, it seems. Taking a look at the stats, Justin Fields, 39 touchdowns, 17 interceptions, 4,800 yards. Those interceptions, though, are a bit brutal. Clark having a better season than normal. Keenan's a god. Seymour not bad. Addison has been iffy, and then James has never really had a chance yet. And then sack total's the best blocking we've had in this entire rebuild. Carter did really well. Knox was okay. Jefferson as a rookie wasn't bad. Picks, Witherspoon with 5. Mooney with 3. Kicking, not bad for the rookie playing his first season. And wow, Guerrero with an insane yards per punt this season. Award wins, maybe Defensive Rookie of the Year if we're lucky, and that's probably it, right? Jenkins was not, I did not even think that was who he was going to be. I suppose that's probably better off because, you know, Jefferson's already a superstar anyways, but Cowboys, 9-8. Let's just get the loss over with. Hey, we win. The Packers, please. We're a better overall than them, though. We win, please. Just one. That's all I asked for. Yes! We're finally in. Let's go. I will show you guys we didn't force any wins or anything like that. Obviously, there was no edit points, I imagine. So, oops, wrong thing. Look, he's misdirection, throw you off. Oh, he's not changing anything. Oh, here's the edit point. There's the edit point. Let's take a look, actually. So, team schedule. You know, the regular season, no cheesery. It's like, yeah, really good job, dude. You proved you didn't cheat. It only took you 15 seasons, pretty much, to get to the Super Bowl. Oh, my God. This game absolutely hates me at times with their damn sims. I mean, we've played so much that our freaking coach staff is, like, literally max, it would appear. Take a look at the DevOps before we go in. Please, just one. That's all I asked for is one. Offensively, everyone seems to be, you know, what they were expected to be, what they were. And Jenkins is a superstar already. The rookie class turned out to be pretty good. So he went from star based on his season and then superstar based on his award win, which is just beautiful behavior. Whitfield, fair enough. The free safety didn't go up, so we'll probably need a new free safety. And Mooney, I would imagine, just got to Superstar X Factor, right? He did. What a year. We'll take that. It's a good year. We really needed some, you know, kind of success like that, and it works out for us. Let's head on in against the Ravens and see what we're cooking up with. Going to the end of the game, the two best scramblers in the league. I would imagine Lamar's still around. Going up against each other for the Super Bowl title. Looking pretty good. That touchdown before half is big for them, though. One more score and we win. I think, in my opinion, maybe, bro, all we need is 1 point. And we've won! Thank you! I just needed one. Everything has been worth it. Of course, it's not over. You know, we're going to keep going until Fields literally retires. But, you know, considering we were getting pretty close there, glad to see him at least come away with one. It was all worth it. Bears fans are going to completely troll Rodgers. And the Packers, well, Fields got the same amount as him, so I guess, you know, equal in Hall of Fame. It's like, okay, dude, relax. But at least we got one. Probably should have had way more than that. And let's see if maybe we can go on like a little Cinderella story run here. Maybe rattle off a couple more. Fields not throwing a pick in the Super Bowl. That's got to be some sort of lie, scam somewhere. Sack totals, nothing crazy from us. They actually smoked us. Short with an interception, and the kicker with a missed field goal. Way to go, guys. Way to support your quarterback. All right, Knox with a 22 mil tag. Kramer has been him, though. Especially with Fields kind of running on, you know, his career kind of ending here. Do we not just try to get him back on another season? Like, Carter is a little bit different. Kramer's been him the whole time, whereas Carter hasn't. We need to re-sign one of these guys, I think. And Kramer's going to be the guy. 23 mil left. Only losing the tackle, which I know it's a tackle, but could be worse. Definitely could be worse. So, managing the money about as well as possible. You know, we're staying afloat at about 20-some mil or so. You know, most of the good teams stay even lower than that, so we're keeping up with, you know, appearances. Finally got that Super Bowl win. Fields is now 37, and I will say his throw power actually went up. He's still kind of a god. Maybe he won't retire anytime soon. He lost 2 throw power? I thought he was like 87 throw power. Also, Seymour, by the way, is an absolute goon. Carter, no one wants, so you know me. We're going to try and scoop him in for a cheap deal. A 3 or 40 is not even that cheap, but it would definitely be worth it. Damn, I was going to go for this guy, but he is slow, dude. He is the slowest person in the world. Moreland, Hughes, and a third next for Moore. He's 28 years old, superstar dev, and he has like 87 or 89 zone coverage. Yeah, he's pretty decent. He's obviously pretty decent, but he is on the up and up for age. He's about as good as you can get for that price, though, in that age. We traded the Patriots 49 and 81 from 32. Obviously, we are lacking in the draft picks, especially after that safety trade for next year. So we need to gain some for this, which will, of course, include, those 2 picks we just acquired. We have a bunch of 90 and 95%. I don't know who the best is. We need multiple guys. Oh, man, that would have been so good if not for the run block. I think Kramer is worth taking, but I don't know if anyone else is. We kind of need a corner. Should we go with Stanton? He actually looks pretty good. 21, 6 foot tall, very fast. I'm going to take Paul Stanton. And he's hidden. I almost traded back from that, too, which is insane. Also, do we actually have pick 32? Wait, what was I saying? Kramer was worth it? Cleveland is the guy that's clearly worth it. 6'4", 21 years old, AABA. What can you go wrong with that? I could have said, what could you say? That would have rhymed every day. I'm not gay. Rudy McGee is our next pick. We traded down again and landed a late third with a high fourth. Opposite, whatever. And I don't know, we're going to just take best available, probably more depth at that pick. So the corner was a 76 overall, the center was a 73, 72 for the guard, 69, 69. Kind of curious to see what dev this corner is, because he's actually kind of a steal. Jumping's terrible, so is agility, but looks pretty good, and I would imagine star, but you never know. Oops, not a safety. 20 years old with star development trait, but hey, we will take that. That is a win. The team is definitely a bit of a shell of its normal self, as Addison's now an 86 overall. James hopefully gets a dev up, as he's still pretty young. He's an 85 overall, and he's a little raw at certain spots, but he obviously has the potential. O-line right tackle is now Cleveland. Tight end's obviously great as ever, and then defense, Carter's maybe got a year. I mean, this is a team that is only going to get worse rather than better at this point. Not a great start, but a pretty good finish here. Knox, I'm going to try to give another 2-year too. Same with Witherspoon. Kramer's going to get another year. Carter probably won't, actually. He's probably going to retire. Clark, I don't know. Addison, probably not. Chauncey, for sure. Walker, for sure. And that's probably it. If he start, no changes to the scheme or the playbooks, and basically won almost every game after that. Also, having to play the wildcard round because of a loss to the Jaguars, which is just great. Gotta love that. Statistically, very good season from Justin Fields. I tried out the Baltimore playbook for a little while. He gained 30 yards a game rushing for 3 games. So I was like, screw that. We're not trying to get rushing numbers. Just doesn't work out. Chauncey James is okay. It's good for him, but we definitely moved him up the depth chart a little bit because of Addison, and still didn't, put up one of those crazy seasons. It's good, but I don't know if that's going to be enough to get him to superstar. Keenan's pretty good. Seymour, he's a tight end, so pretty good. Addison at this point in his career, that's not bad at all. Blocking was decent, especially since that's a rookie playing right tackle. Jefferson is now an X factor. 13.5 sacks for Knox. Carter's gone. Interceptions are awful. Allen was pretty good, and then punting was decent. Any award wins other than Jefferson? Fields with MVP. We will take that. That adds to his legacy, obviously. Did we not get Defensive Player of the Year with Jefferson? Really? Well, that's a bit of an L. We got Best Quarterback, O-line, D-line, and that's it. But still, a couple of award wins and a playoff spot. All right, going to the next week. Winning the game. I saw an L, but that was from the previous week. Wow, the Buccaneers are kind of juiced. Not juiced enough. Going against the Packers, please give us another Super Bowl trip. Give it to us. And we're back in. Going against the Chargers. Let's see it. I'm going in. Before we do that, though, let's take a look at the dev ups. James did not go up in dev like we expected. Fields is an 87 overall, but obviously at 37, he may regress hard. Defensively, I'm trying to think. Really? Wait, Jefferson didn't go up in dev? He was already a superstar, wasn't he? Bro. 20-plus sacks. And he got D-line of the year, and he didn't go up in dev. Are you kidding? I think Jenkins may have went up in dev, right? He was only star, wasn't he? Man, doing man, having to, do different man, it's so bad. Actually, Gaddis went up in dev, didn't he? Because he was best O-line. He was he superstar? I don't remember, dude. Was he able? It's because he's already superstar in fairness, so he can't really go up in dev again. So did we just solve that you can't go up to X Factor as a lineman? Or did he already have best O-line at one point? And then, I don't know. But regardless, 95 overall team versus an 84 overall Chargers team for a chance for Fields to have 2 Super Bowl wins. It's looking pretty good at halftime. And remember, this is a rebuild, not a, career sim. So we can come in if we need to, but it looks like we don't, as the Bears are now going to be 2-time champions with Fields at the helm. Really nice little ending kind of to this rebuild. Obviously, it's still not over. You never know how Fields is going to play it out. I've seen guys go up to 40-some years old, so maybe he sticks around even more, which, if he does, could add to that legacy. MVP with Super Bowl potential MVP. That's pretty good. Was it actually Super Bowl MVP? We'll find out. We'd have to see some crazy defensive stats, which doesn't appear that there was. So I would assume Super Bowl MVP and regular season MVP in the same year, which, of course, is pretty busted. But let's see if he's still here. Obviously, I'd be okay with, 2 Super Bowl win rebuild. For a while there, it looked like we might not have won one at all. But let's see if he's still here, which I would assume he is. 87 overall, even if he regressed, 82, 83, probably at worst. But let us see, where are the Bears? And, I saw a retirement, but it was Jordan Addison. He's still around. Oh my, Justin Fields is taking a bit of a hit. He's an 84 overall now, but the team around him is still pretty good. It's pretty good. Kramer didn't really even go down in overall too much. Clark, we had a 1-year deal for $8 million. He's still around. Obviously, Carter's an 87. He's still here, which is surprising, but I think we have to move on from him anyways because we just can't afford him. But we're still intact. We're still barely kicking. We're breathing. So free agency's looking pretty weak. Merritt, one of our former backup linemen that never really got a chance, 87 overall though. That's pretty good. The majority of free agency here is just a bunch of old. I think I'm going to pay TJ Langford. I don't want to do too much more than a $16 million deal, as he's not a super high overall. He is 26 only, but his best season was last year. It was 5.5 sacks, and just I would assume that was a starting season for him, which, do I really want to be locked in super long term with a guy that may not even be the answer? Probably not. Pick 32, which is the best pick to have. Assuming you actually won the Super Bowl and you didn't have someone else's pick, but we are likely going to take a safety, Mr. Tyrese Sharp, I think. Do we have anyone else? Guard looks pretty good, actually. No one else is a 1-2. We need to replace at least one safety coming up. Very good man coverage, insanely fast. He's at least a corner if he's not a good free safety, so we're going to grab him. And he is hidden development trait. Maybe not a good corner, actually, as that speed and excel for his height isn't crazy great for a cornerback, but as a safety, that's fine. We trade 64, McGee, and a 6th-round pick next year to the Chiefs for their 2nd-round pick. I actually didn't see if McGee was a superstar or not. That would be a mad L if he was, but I don't think he was. And ironically enough, we will be taking a guard with that pick, but I imagine he's going to be a better guard as he is a round 1 talent grade. 21 years old as well, so a little bit younger to deal with for the long term. One of the best looking, non-top 5 linemen I've ever seen. As, sure, you have a C run block power and a D pass block power, but everything else is B's and A's, which is pretty impressive. And we're going to grab him. Hidden development trait, 91 strength. We'll say, with that size and potentially that speed, probably locked in at, an interior position, but still worth every penny, I feel. We give up Barnes, 128 and 160 for 74, which yeah, I don't think is the worst thing in the world. And once again, with the guard, the pick is going to be Theo Allen with the elite speed, the elite change of direction, the great jumping, the great agility, and excel, and of course the A-zone coverage, which will add another hidden development trait player to. I mean, it is elite speed, but I thought it was going to override the 40 time and all that a little bit. Didn't really, but still, he's a fair overall. He's pretty good. We trade a 5th and 2 7ths for like 16 spots up in the 5th round, which we'll be using to grab a cornerback Stockton. He's pretty raw, but decently fast. He's got like a C man coverage, which is fair enough. So Jawan Stockton, 21 years old, normal dev. No agility, change direction, or jumping, but speed and excel is decent. We are down to 17 million, but we did land 370 overall pluses. Stockton really ain't that guy, but that's all right, as the other guys were all hidden sharp. I mean, it doesn't really matter too much just yet, but let's take a look at the dev. Just for the hell of it, this upcoming season will be his year. Not the greatest star development trait, but it is pick 32. And then Gibson, I think, will be the starting left guard next year because Kramer will probably be retired. Star development trait, not that we really even care too much. It's a lineman. Be lovely, don't get me wrong, lovely to have it, but obviously it's not going to be something you expect to get. And then Allen, I think, will be the middle linebacker going forward. Star as well. So good players, but no one's like absurd. All right, here's the team for maybe the last year. Fields is getting there, dude. He's 38 now, and yeah, this is what the squad looks like. We're keeping it alive as much as possible. Maybe need to add a new wide receiver. And then defensively, I think we're fine. The cornerbacks are going to become a problem soon, but not quite here just now. I think Fields will be gone before then, and that's kind of the whole point of this. After this season is over, we're probably going to take a look at Fields' numbers and awards and all that, just in case. So we have 111 mil, and it seems like we will have to make some tough decisions this season, including allowing Kramer and McDonald go, probably. Fields is on the list, and obviously he is the greatest of all time in this franchise's history. Please, thank you. Okay, so 1 year 20, obviously he's a lower overall, but I was still expecting to try and fleece us a bit here. Yeah, I mean, we can afford a lot of these players, but I think you definitely let Kramer go. Maybe try to get McDonald back, because I have enjoyed his successes. 7-year 110 for Seymour, who, I think is absolutely worth it. To the playoffs, a little bit of a losing streak here, but did win that final game against the Vikings, 12-5. Let's take a look at the player. Oh my lord, the stats. Fields definitely not doing super well. Clark, really bad though. Keenan, solid. Seymour, solid. Chauncey, pretty awful, but once again, Fields' numbers in general are lower. Blocking was amazing, so you can't blame that. Pass rush a little bit worse for Jefferson, but he was still good enough. And Langford, 6.5, 1 sack up from what we expected. 7 for Mooney, though, even though we are in a 4-3. Mooney, he's got to be Defensive Player of the Year with those numbers, right? Like, that's got to be. Clay Allen, we offered a 5-year 31. He is back on that deal, and he missed 3 out of 19 kicks, which is okay, I guess. Definitely not going to win MVP this time, and, lucky to even be here at this point. Any award wins? Nothing, surprisingly. But here we go. Could this be the final season of the entire rebuild? Going up against the Cardinals, and we do win. Going against the Buccaneers now. They are definitely a lower overall than they once were, and it doesn't matter, though, because they are, oops, that's the wrong thing, good enough to beat us. There will be no three-peats as we lose by 11 to the Buccaneers. I honestly surprised that we won last season. Fields was good, though. It wasn't his fault. 3 touchdowns to Michael Miller. I mean, he was let down by his team. What can we tell you? And just because I am getting retirement vibes, let's take a look. Fields became a true kind of pocket passer, nearing 75,000 yards, passing just about 6,000 completions, which puts him at 65% completion percentage, just under 600 touchdowns, just under 200 interceptions in general. Almost a 105 passer rating, which is pretty damn good. Sacked 606 times. Rushing numbers, obviously, in this one aren't going to be crazy great, but 5,000 yards rushing with 40 touchdowns is still pretty damn good. But will there be more left in the tank? Battle of the Birds, Super Bowl winner is the Ravens. Let's go on to the re-signings. This is where you would see the retirements, and I would assume that overall would drop if he actually does retire. I forgot to look at the awards, but it doesn't really matter too much. He won MVP and 2 Super Bowls. Don't think he had anything else other than that. Is he still around? He is. However, you lose Knox. That's a huge loss. Kramer, obviously, we were going to let go anyways, but Knox I thought was going to be here for 1 more year. Is not. What is that overall for Fields? He is 82, so he's still kind of going strong, though. Maybe he'll never retire, because his throw power hasn't dropped yet, since, and then his accuracies are all like 87 plus. It is kind of dumb, though. He's 39 with, 92 speed and all that. Running backs, we're going to lose both of the backs. That's fine. Need a left guard, kind of. Gibson, I think, is just going to be the guy that we start long term. And now we need a DT. Aaron Short, I tried to offer, kind of a smaller deal. Couldn't do it, but a 15.6 for the tag is fine. Holtz, I'm going to let go. I was going to maybe make a play, not going to. Moore is still good. If he wants to sign on a 1-year deal worth like 8, I'd do it. So the first round safety being wasted. Good to know. But that is just for 1 more year, and everyone else is a backup. So 42 mil to spend on a new DT. Larry Trent is pretty much that DT, to be honest, but he's a block shedder, so I don't care. We ended up getting Holt back on a 2-year, $15 million deal, which, we needed a running back, and 29, he should be good for at least the next 2 seasons. And then I tried to get this Dalton guy. He's not quite a DT, but with the strength, 274 isn't the smallest in the world. Try to pull it off, and they are not feeling it. So, even though we can afford them, I don't know if we should. Yeah, we could probably pull it off, like a 2-year 50 or something like that, but do we really want to? If I can do like a 1-year 30, I'd do it. Give them the bag, because this could be their final season anyways, and, lock in a good chance at, winning it all again. Or an okay chance, at least. And he is not down, sadly. I really didn't want to settle for Thurman because he doesn't really have that good of pass rushing, but really had no choice, so we went with Thurman. And wow, we need a wide receiver. Keenan is 34 now, and he's also making 34. Wide receiver, linebacker wouldn't hurt. DT, obviously. Corner for depth. So for the first time in a while, we're actually going to be trading down instead of trading up or drafting a player, which probably will help the future. Will there be a future, though? Once again, we've been kind of thinking every single season now is the time for Fields to go, but hasn't happened. I'm not wishing for it to happen, but I'm just expecting it, And I think of all the offers, the Browns is the most realistic and fair. And assuming my player is here at 14, which I think he is, because he's a 2 to 3, I think I'm going to be taking a DT. Obviously, we're not going to... Come on, game. Show me my player. Jeez, I had to click it like 3 times. Going to grab Daryl Carlisle, who is a little lower on the on the strength, but pretty damn athletic. A finesse move, C block shit. You can't really go wrong with these players unless, as kind of expected, he is normal dev, but what can you do? Like, we had Higgins, but, you can't choose him over A finesse, right? We're going to trade 59 and 123 for 47, which we're going to be taking a safety with. I know you're probably thinking, well, we already got a safety last year. Even though the guy's a little bit on the slower side, he does have really good man coverage, so I feel like it is worth just taking best available player and just making it happen. With a B zone coverage, 6'1", 21 years old, probably fits as the free safety a little bit better anyways, so Josh Graham is going to be my choice. Hidden development trait, 91 speed, 88 excel, 89 agility. Looks pretty good. I can't be mad with the pick, whether, it was smart or not. He's a good player. Now we move on to pick 15 or 14 in the 3rd round, and even though he's a day 3, he has a 1 to 2 talent grade, and wow, his run block sucks. 1 to 2 talent grade, I'm still going to take him. Owen Reed, hidden development trait, but I imagine his run block is going to be some garb. Day 3 could literally be round 4, so if he was pick 1 in the 4th round, he could literally have gone right there or sooner even, obviously, so it depends on where they go. There might be some sort of method to that madness, but I don't actually know. Running back, okay, he is still there. He's undrafted, projected for some reason. I thought he was about to be gone already. We need linebacker. Once again, another day 3. Walls. He was fast, right? Yeah, he's pretty fast. Let's go DeAndre Walls. Normal development trade. You assumed it was going to happen. And then we're going to go with Felix Aldridge. I think, actually, we have 2 fast wide receivers. Who's 21? Any of them? Okay, we're going to go with the 21-year-old. Kirk Bailey, 96 speed, 97 excel. You always choose youth. Watch the running back be gone, even though he's an undrafted projection. I wasn't going to take him that high, though. And he is still there. Joel Edwards, very good trucking back with some speed. 91 speed, 89 excel, normal dev. We traded 6 next for a Cowboys 7 this. There was a punter that looked pretty good. I'm going to grab him, and maybe he's the future at that position. Our current punter is like 30-something. He is Mr. Day with the elite kick power and B accuracy. So John Day is my choice. And he's hidden with 93 jump, 86 speed. Is that a generational punter now? Well, obviously, we're going to have to take a look at that. That is quite intriguing. I don't know if I've ever had a generational punter, but we're about to find out. 73, 74, 73. Middle linebacker was awful. Wide receiver's okay. Running back was okay. And the punter's only a 71. So I cannot imagine that that is generational. He's a good player, and he's insanely fast. He definitely seems like some sort of special build. Whether he's actually like a physical generational type player or not, I don't know. Dev is... okay, he must be generational. Superstar development trait obviously is generational. DT was normal development trait, 73 overall, and he's 22 with, in fairness, 82 finesse move, though. And the rest of the players, we don't really care too much. I mean, obviously, I'd prefer better than star, but no one's starting anyways just yet. And wow... Reed may be the worst run-blocking, like, good player, quote-unquote, that I've ever seen. Superstar? I figured something was, like... I figured the fact that he was so garbage at run block that he had to be superstar, right? Like, what's the point of being star dev if you're that bad at run blocking? Like, you literally can't even develop that, right? And then free safety is star development trait. I mean, it's an okay draft. It wasn't spectacular, but... we ended up landing a superstar lineman and a superstar punter. Maybe the future DT. I don't know. It's okay. All right, the squad. I keep saying for potentially the final last year, so I'm not going to say it anymore, even though I kind of just said it anyways. Going to lose some of these really, really talented players, and, you know, there's obviously new faces coming in and out of the lineup, and, you know, here we are. I'm going to put Walker as the starting DT as well, because he's definitely more of the face of that, you know, interior than... the guy we just picked up. 124 mil, I'm going to be honest with you, Keenan is probably retiring, so I don't want to deal with that until after the season is, like, kind of over. Gaddis, I mean, we don't really have many other players to pay at this point, so might as well do a 3-year 38, and I hate his accountant. He's always yelling for more money. Witherspoon, maybe. McFadden, he never really got to a decent overall. Like, I mean, well... you know, he never got to that elite level where, you know, you can dip into that regression age like Witherspoon has and still, you know, going strong. So it's like, will he last that much longer? You almost rather just take Witherspoon at this point because, you know, they're both pretty similar. But Witherspoon's probably going to be good just as long, but he's going to at least be better. I don't know. There's just question marks across the board on some of these contracts. I don't know what to do. You know, I don't know what to do. Wow, Fields is, I mean, that is, I mean, talk about a low contract. I mean, okay, pretty good year. Could we have a bye week? We can and will. 13-4 with a very low overall $5 million Justin Fields. You know, 1 and 2 out the gate. I was like, oh, has our time passed? It has not. We are still that team. Fields is still apparently that dude. Let's take a look at the numbers. I mean, really good considering. Holtz, 4.0 yards per carry with 10 touchdowns. I mean, good enough, right? Seymour has been great throughout. Keenan is still great. James finally back up. Could get to superstar with the touchdowns, actually. LaMichael Miller, I actually paid a 3-year 25 mil deal to because he's actually pretty good. 83 overall star with, you know, good catching. Route running's a little iffy, but he's insanely fast. So raw but pure speed, which sometimes all you need. Blocking was great. Jefferson with 18.5 sacks. And I'm glad I paid Langford a 3-year 73 because he got 12.5 sacks Walker and Thurman both with 7 sacks, despite the fact that Walker is a better, pass rusher, but had better tackles for loss, even though he's a worse run blocker or run block shedder than Thurman. Interceptions were pretty good. Kicking, great. Punting, just good enough. Bailey with a kick return touchdown. Obviously, the rookie day we didn't start because we were paying Guerrero. So, Walt Buckner, I will say, this guy, he's kind of coming on strong here. Keith Jefferson has been pretty impressive. A couple of award wins, including, is that a DevUp award win? Was that Reed that I saw? I don't even know who that was, but let's see it. Divisional round. Could we win 3 Super Bowls with the Bears and Fields? Going up against the Niners, was that like 10 overalls on them? I guess it doesn't matter because they beat us. Congrats, guys. It's not like building a team matters anymore. It's just whatever EA wants to decide that specific day. Stewart killed it, and Fields was still good. He was still good. I don't know what you want from us. James, 122 yards with 2 touchdowns. Like, I just don't know what you want from me at this point. Hendricks, they just outplayed us despite the fact that we have the better team. By what appeared to be a lot. I'm pretty sure it was 96-86. I'm almost certain of it. And they waste our spot in the playoffs anyways, and it's the Buccaneers versus the Patriots. The Super Bowl winner being the Patriots. Not going to worry about regression or anything yet until we know about the retirements. I seen a little bit of drops. I did. I'm just saying. I did. Is he still here? He is, though. Dustin McDonald retires. I actually wonder if he can physically retire. It just seems like at this point, like he's never going to retire. Or, hear me out, next season for sure, because he is a 74 overall. So I do not think we're going to be able to get that last season in, as the stupid glitch where it will not let you into a cloud server franchise is back. I think it's something to do with Ultimate Team. Last time it took like 4 or 5 days to fix, and that was not on a holiday kind of weekend, and that's not when they're trying to fix some crazy MUT thing. I know they were trying to fix something on MUT, but this is like the craziest MUT thing they're trying to fix, I guess. And I cannot get my last season done, sadly. And with Justin Fields being a 74 overall, a lot of our players being gone, and lower overalls in general, I'm going to call it there. I'm not going to wait another week. I really wanted to get this video out sooner, but I had to deal with this twice in one rebuild kind of situation, which is just fun, super fun. But in the end, Justin Fields, if I can remember correctly, 1 MVP, 2 Super Bowl wins, a bunch of yards, over 74,000 yards, almost 600 touchdowns, maybe got over that, had under 200 interceptions at that point. Clearly the best quarterback in Bears history and one of the greatest ever when you look at the stats and, awards he was able to pull off in this one. No best quarterback ever, but maybe a couple of Pro Bowl appearances. But as we know, Pro Bowl it's a voting thing. Who gives a damn? Who cares about that? So 2 Super Bowl wins and an MVP, which is really impressive stuff. That is pretty much going to be it for this. Unless this gets crazy support, I don't know if I'm going to do another one of these, especially with the servers. It takes a long time. You never know if you're even going to be able to finish it with this stuff. If you do offline with the amount of simming you need to do, it just takes so long, which is why I do cloud, because it's like 2-3 times as fast to sim, and it's a disaster regardless. But hopefully you still found some enjoyment out of this video, and hopefully it didn't take you too many days to finish. I know it's a bit longer, but try to cut it down as quick, as short as possible when you consider my normal rebuild length. For 5 seasons, usually about an hour. So, I think I did an okay job. If we did another one of these, though, let me know what team you would like to see next. Maybe Jets, Jaguars, perhaps. We've already done a Jaguars one a couple of Maddens ago, but could do another one. It's different teams. I just think the Bears were definitely the best one to do it for if we were going to do a one-off like we have a couple of seasons now, a couple of Maddens now. But yeah, let me know in the comment section below. We will be back on Wednesday with another upload, probably Seahawks franchise. Let this one marinate a little bit as it's a long video. Tomorrow, though, probably going to start a new series on the second channel, PK Plays, so maybe subscribe over there, maybe check it out. And yeah, and hopefully you're not annoyed by seeing this error sign too much, but that's what we've got. Anyways, maybe leave a like, subscribe if you're new, if you're not new. Really appreciate your continued support. Really appreciate, just in general, the fact that you're here at this point in the video. That's insane. And that's about it. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you guys come back for next video. But until next video, see ya.